Hello, hello, hello. Hey there, hey there, hey. It's been a minute. Come on in. Let's talk. Let's talk. Come on in. Hit the like button when you come on in. Like, share, and subscribe. All of that jazz. Hello, hello. Come on in. Let me make sure I got these settings set. We don't need no distractions. Come on in. This is not the thumbnail I had. It's not my thumbnail. Hello, come on in. Come on in. Let's see. Snap. Snap. Hello. Hey, Rhoda. How you doing? How you doing? Fashion Rookie. Hello, hello. Y'all come on in here, y'all. I want to talk about some things. Listen, y'all. Y'all know I've been out of commission. I've just been traveling lately. So I wanted to check in with you all. Because y'all know when I hit live, y'all come listen, I be having questions and y'all be coming with the answers. So come on in, come on in. Come on in here. Like the video as you come on in. I don't know what the hell going on with my little thumbnail. Let me see. Come on in. Yes. Hit the like button as y'all come on in. I'm just trying to work on some things, some technical aspects of the content creation. Y'all, if y'all only knew, child. See, y'all get the easy part. Y'all just sit and hear all the mess. Y'all don't have to deal with all the other extras that come along with content creations. All right. We'll fix that later. Hey, PM. Hello, hello. Hey, Roxanne. How y'all doing? Listen, today we're doing a compare and contrast. As y'all seen from the title of the video, we're doing a compare and a contrast because I'm seeing, listen, these two women, they moving real different. And for the singles out here in the streets, who y'all listening to? Who are y'all listening to? Who are y'all listening to? I'm always curious to know who people are listening to. And do you feel like you're getting results after listening to whoever the hell you listening to? Are you getting the results? Because listen, Rose Miller, I done seen people in her comments, Rose Miller of Queen of Kings, in case you don't know. Listen, some people like, listen, Rose, you saving marriages, you saving lives out here. Listen, I'm here for you in the Brett, the blue shirt, whatever, the brawny man, whatever we calling him today. I'm here for everything that y'all come to the internet with. And then you got Shira7. So right before I hit live, she came up in my recommendations. And I don't follow her. I said, let me see what the hell she talking about. So I'm listening and listen, she has a lot of people's ear. And like people like, listen, they in these comments like, girl, listen, I wear a hijab. I need to find a man. How can I find a man wearing a hijab? Shira talking about, I don't wear no hijab. I wear wigs. I can't help you out. I cannot help you with that. So I'm like, who are you ladies listening to? Like, listen, I want to know who y'all listening to. And are you getting the results that let me see. So the question is, who are you listening to, and are you getting the desired results as a result of that? As a result of listening to whoever you're listening to, because Shira7 has a huge following, and Rose Miller also has a huge following. Both ladies have a really large following. They're well, how do I want to say Rose Miller, you know, she's in the category of like child loosely family channel, but child, it's saying she in the family sector. But then you got Shira. I don't know if she's in the relationships. I guess she would be in the relationship sector, but she has a really big following. She has a really big following. And what I started doing is trying to do a compare and contrast between the two ladies and their messaging. And I'm very familiar. I'm more familiar probably with Rose Miller's um, messaging versus Shira Seven. Uh, Rose Miller has a really large following. I cover her content, Queen of Kings, quite regularly. So I know that, her talking points, the things that she says. Shira Seven, I have an idea of like how she speaks, the lingo. A lot of people react to her from time to time I probably came to learn who she was within like the past 2 years. So I have some sense of kind of like, how she speaks. But what I see Shira does or how she speaks versus Rose Miller, they're very different. They're very different, yet both women are married. Rose has a family. She has children. I don't know, if Shira has babies or whatever, if she has them with her husband. But I do know Shira is about that dollar. I do know that. Rose Miller talks about being about the dollar as well, but it's always up for it's always up for debate, at least on YouTube, as to who's the provider in their relationship. Is it her? Because she cussed him out in July and said, listen, I don't want to build this. I built this. But then after that, she kind of came back and was like, okay, my husband works. He has a 6-figure job. He does this, that, and the third. Shira Seven has a black man. Rose Miller has a white man. So the messaging that I hear from Rose Miller is, listen, when it's white is right, child, you need to get you one. You need to get you one. You need to get you one. The messaging, that I hear from Shira is the face, the color. Listen, Shira, like, listen, you don't even need to be. He can look like the damn trash can. It don't even matter what he look like. Long as he coming through with the finances, long as he got the money, the resources, and all of that. Don't worry about him hurting your eyes. Hell, close them. It's time to go to bed anyway. Just close them. Go shopping so you don't have to look at them. So with her, it really doesn't, race and all of that, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, these are two different messaging. So I wanted to come out here with you all to talk to you all about that. I've been traveling a bit like this month. I'm so sick of being at the airport, child. So I've been traveling a lot so far this month. So I've been kind of in and out with the things going on in the YouTube streets. But I also wanted to switch it up and change how I approach some of these conversations as they pertain to Rose. And so that's why I inserted Shira Seven into the chat, because I was just listening to her and listening to some of the advice she was giving with the women. Listen, Shira said, that man hurt your feelings and he wants you back. You just make him pay to get back in. I guess he has to buy his way in. She's like, listen, have him run that check, run that credit card. But listen, they say you pay like you weigh. You pay like you weigh. Are you a pay like you weigh girly? Let me know, because I know today's messaging, dating, and all of that jazz is different from 20 plus years ago when I was on the scene. I just celebrated October 1st, 20 years of being married. So it's real different out here than what it was 20 plus years ago. I met my husband in year 2000. Child, what the hell? What were you doing in 2000? What were you doing in 2000? I was 1 year out of high school in 2000. So things were very different. Beyonce's internet, this internet as we know it, y'all, that wasn't a thing. Social media, internet was like the internet, but it was nothing like today. No social media. So literally, like dating, advice, things like that, you weren't getting it through electronics. You were getting it from actual real conversations with people. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like dating today is worse than what it was 15, 20 years ago? If you're old enough to recall what those times were. Listen, I'm about to be 44 on Friday, October 25th. So you got an idea of kind of where I'm at. How do you compare just 20 years ago when you were on the scene, the dating scene, versus today? Some of you may still be in the dating scene. Some of you may be out of it right now. I like to talk to people because, like, sometime recently I was on an all male platform, and child, I was the only woman on the platform. So they kind of got, this platform I was on, they don't have very many women come through. So when they do have a woman come through, they get real excited when they get one, and they want to ask a lot of questions to try to understand the psyche of the woman. And on both sides, I hear the women say it ain't no good men, and the men says no good women. They're like, chic, stay married, stay in the house, this, that, and the third. So really, been on that platform with those men, y'all, their thoughts, it's just like women's, how y'all be like, these men trash, they this, and that. The men were saying the same thing. And I wasn't surprised because I heard them, men speak on different platforms before, but I hadn't been on the panel with them. So I was actually on the panel with them. And I'm sharing my views. They like, girl, they like, chic, you need to open up an etiquette. You need to hit the babies, the older ones, they have lost cause, get the youth. They like the elementary school kids. They was like, listen, the ones your age just lost. Men got the same concerns you all, and some of you may know, some of you may not know, but a lot of concerns that men have, it's just like what women have. And, I was able to listen. And like I said, I wasn't hearing anything new, but it was just, men, just like a lot of women, are kind of like tired and kind of checked out. Men are too. Men are too. So I want to talk about some things. Got a lot of comments in here. Let me get through the comments, but definitely as you come on in, like the video, comment, engage in the conversation, because I'm trying to understand. Like I said, Rose out here, she's showing what it looks like as far as with the family dynamic. Whether we're here for it or not, it's a nuclear family setup. So on the internet, we have conversations about what their family look like. Do some of you all think that, hell, I don't want no part of the whole nuclear family setup, whole like marriage, because you feel like it looks like that? It's toxic. Because I've heard so many women say, you know what, I'm done with this. I don't see any good relationships. Everything is just trash. It's a mess. So I don't want any parts of it. I'm less stressed by being out of the dating game. So I'm good over here. But then you got some women who are like, listen, I need me somebody quick, fast, in a hurry. I need me a provider. What is a provider? I need somebody to help me with these bills, with these kids. I want somebody. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. So Shira 7 enters the chat with, hey, this is how you look for a provider. This is what you do to get one. Damn if he looked like a mud duck. So what? So what? It don't matter. It don't matter. When you're a hypergamist and you're looking for somebody with the money and the resources, the last thing you need to be concerned about is how they look. Y'all, I've noticed. Let me know if y'all notice in these chats. A lot of times the guys that look real good, they don't be having nothing. They don't be having nothing. It be the ones who have the struggle face, who normally be the ones who have like the education, the good job, the resources. And a lot of those men be the ones to be like, yo, women don't be checking for me. Or their story is, when I was hearing on the panel, well, the black woman wasn't checking for me. That's why I got with Becky. Child, I was up on panel fighting for my life, talking to these men about my thoughts as to why I feel black men are with non-black women. Heavily, their argument is the black woman not wanting the black man because he doesn't look good enough. Remember, Shira said, damn what he looked like. It don't matter what he looked like. Y'all worried about the wrong things. Y'all worried about the wrong things. That's what Shira said. Y'all worried about the wrong things. Rose over here like, shit, you need to get you a brawny man. You need to get you a white one. You need to get you a tall glass of milk. Get you one that looks like this, because I'm done dealing with the ones look like that. So y'all see why I got questions, And even though I'm not in the dating scene, y'all know I like to help. She likes to help. I've been married for goddamn forever. Like, it ain't many people out here on the YouTube streets who've been married as long as I have. It's some that come in a close second, but y'all know, I'm sure most of y'all listen to somebody who has not been married for as long as I have. So if y'all got questions, let me know. I do the best I can to answer them. Some of y'all may have seen my pictures. I posted A couple weeks ago, I was in Mexico celebrating our 20-year anniversary. So I went ahead and posted some pictures. Child, I got a million pictures more on my Facebook, but I just posted those just to give y'all a snap, and I ended up posting a picture of my husband. I was reluctant. I'm like, I'll put this out there because I don't share him much like on the internet. I kind of keep that separate, but I do have a short where he's in it. And then, so sometimes you can see him a little bit in the background, be like, is that him? So I went ahead and posted a picture of my husband. So that's the man I've been with for 24 years. So child, your girl been out the game for a very, very long time, but I've been married for 20 years. So that's I know a thing or two about this relationship thing. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. So ask your questions. I am here. Let's talk about it. But let me get through these comments. Please, as you come on in, like the video. Let's talk about it. Let's like the video. Hey, Roxanne. Hello. Fashion Rookie says, share something else. Interested to hear your opinion. Yes, I got my opinion. So I talked about some things. I'm really interested in you all's opinions because I really want to help. Share out here trying her best. From my understanding, it looks like what she's trying to do is help. Rose, I wouldn't say her, she's on the internet. It's from a place of trying to help. It's more of, let me show you what my life looks like type of thing. So, and if that helps you, then it does, but it's not really her speaking things a whole lot with trying to help the next woman, I guess, get to what she has. But here and there, she'll say a few things or whatever. But yeah, I have my thoughts. I really have my thoughts. Like I said, I was listening to Shira and she was saying some things, and I don't know. I just think that I understand what it means to be a provider and to want a provider, and I'm here for that. Yes. But I think that where a lot of people may be missing a mark and maybe missing out on their blessings is when that becomes the number one thing on their list of what they're looking for. I don't feel like it should be number one. I do not feel like it should be number one. But again, we can talk about what is a provider, what comes with that. Hey, Virtuous. Hello. Hey, Lil Derica, Lil Paul, Pam. Hey, y'all. Lil Paul said, I don't know who Shira 7 is. I will have to go peep her out. Oh, Shira is huge. You better get into her. She's huge. Probably once you see her, you'll be like, oh, I've seen that woman. She has TikToks almost every time she opens her mouth. Something going viral because she's saying something that's pissing somebody off. And it's usually the men that she pisses off. But her messaging is like, listen, if them dollars ain't right, what they say, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Like, she said, listen, your man pissed you off and he want to get back in your good graces, charge him for it. Those are words, charge him for it. You got to pay like you weigh. So everything is centered around finances. Damn what he look like, she said. He can look like a mud duck. That don't matter. That don't matter, child. It do not matter. Pam said, definitely not Rose anymore. Listen, I've seen people in the comments talking about Rose. Listen, you are relationship goals. You out here saving lives, saving marriages. I've clutched my invisible pearls when I read those comments, but it to me, it sends a message of, damn, people out here down bad if that's what they're looking at for solace when it comes to relationship. Fashion says Shira encourages women to go after the money. She sure does, she like go after the money. And I think a lot of women are taking heed to that. But on the flip side, I feel like that has a lot of women also single because that has become the primary focus. Remember, it's about balance. And I'll talk more about that as far as what that looks like for me. PN says, I'm listening to neither. I used to watch Roach. I didn't listen to her then. I don't know Shira 7. Okay. Virtuous says, like, share, comment, please. Thank you, Virtuous Woman. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Definitely follow me on my backup channel. Chic Speaks on it. That is, it's on my screen. It's my backup channel. Lil Paul said, I definitely don't listen to or take advice from Rose or her relationships, financial decisions, and family are a mess. Her and Brett are both in no way role models or an inspiration for anyone. To me, I look at Rose as a walking contradiction. Shira 7, I haven't gotten into her like that on that level to know if whether I don't think Shira 7 takes us into her personal life on that level to even know if she contradicts. But what I will say is I've always heard her messaging be very consistent. So going off of her being consistent in her message, I would say that it's very, very likely that she walks the talk, like all of that is lined up. And if we did have access or view into her life, we would see it line up with her messaging because her messaging has been very clear. And that's another thing, even like with my life, you all don't see like my personal life, but you hear my messaging. It's very consistent. When someone's consistent in their messaging, it's definitely a good indication that in other parts of their life they're consistent. People typically aren't consistent here, inconsistent there, because you're either a consistent person or you not. That's typically just how the patterns that people just naturally follow. They're either consistent or they're not. They're either a truth teller or a liar. Like, listen, it is what it is. Rose is not a consistent person. Her husband has said she's not consistent. She flip-flops. So keep that in mind too as we get into this conversation. As we talk about the two ladies. Nikki says, I feel Shira 7 plus. She has been married for 20 years. Also, she has 2 teenage daughters. So Nikki gave me some information that I did not have. I know she's been married for a long time, but I didn't know it was 20 years. I know she's been on YouTube for a long time. Actually, I had no clue really how long. I figured she'd probably been married for at least 8 to 10 years. So 20 years is a lot, y'all, especially in today's time. 20 years is a lot. Do anyone happen to know how old Shira is? I'm curious to know how old she is. Is she closer to my age? Is she older? Just out of curiosity. But I think that as I say on this channel, when people on this internet have messagings and things like that, pay attention to the messenger. Back up what they're saying to just the lives and, how they're moving. So Shira 7, she's telling y'all this, and that. You're saying, hey, she's been married 20 years. So take all that into an account. Virtuous says, I've been off the market for 27 years and very happy. Virtuous woman, I think you're married. So do you feel like it's very different, from what you're hearing today versus 27 years ago? PM says, yes, dating is horrible today. I'm out that scene. I don't hear anyone speak positivity about dating today, male or female. I just don't hear it. Y'all, I was on this panel. I was listening to them talk for like a really long time. I was on the panel for some hours. This was like right before I left to travel, and this last time. And these men were just like, listen, I'm just tired. Like, I give up. Like, they sound it was just like the same energy that I hear the ladies have. And it's just like, wow, it's just crazy that so many people, are feeling this same way in the dating scene, and you kind of need one another because y'all got to link up. So I'm like, damn. Then have y'all seen it advertised? I've seen it over the weekend. There's some catfish special thing on Netflix. A lady telling her story about, it looks like it was an Indian. She looked like she probably was like Indian. She had like brown skin and the man was Indian. But y'all, it's on Netflix. Can't remember the name, but I think it's something in the title of Catfish or something like that. It made me think about some years ago on YouTube when they had a special with the I don't know if it was Facebook or Instagram. It was a guy who was meeting women. Y'all seen that a couple of years ago because I ended up talking about it on my YouTube channel because y'all, I've been on here for years. Sometimes I get tired of YouTube and I'll kind of go on a hiatus and then I come back. And so it was one of the times where, when I was active on YouTube and I reviewed it, and it was a guy from I don't know if he was meeting these women from, I think he was meeting them from a dating app. I don't know if it was Plenty of Fish, a dating app or something like that. Child, he was getting these women for all their coins. So now there's a new updated show, on Netflix, and it's centered around, it's called Catfish or something like that. Check that out. I saw the preview of it over the weekend. I'm not sure if it was available to watch just yet, but I remember seeing it advertised on there. Child, folks struggling out here. It is a thing to where all cross, all ethnicity, cultural group, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not an Asian thing, an Indian thing. It's just a challenge. it's just a challenge that everyone is just having right now when with men, women. I met a young lady on my business trip, and she was actually was she Pakistani, or I think she was Pakistani or something like that. And she lives in New York. Beautiful young girl. I think she said she was 25. And she talked about the struggle of dating. And I'm like, damn, y'all. I mean, y'all, she sit up here talking to me like how I'm talking to the sister, the black woman, about her struggles. And she's telling me she got the same struggle. And she said, and she only normally dates the guys in her cultural group. And she says they just want to hook up. And it was just crazy because listen, I'm listening to her and her stories sound just like that of the next woman, the woman that looked like me that I'll more often than not get in conversations with, like family friends. Child, ain't nobody running around here married like me in big numbers. Like I'm the Lone Ranger in like my family, like on my side, my husband's side, child, everybody married. But, they live all spread apart. They're not local here with me in Georgia. So my side of the family, my sister, like, their lives don't look like mine. So I see the challenges they have with the dating. So talking to this young lady, and I'm just trying to boost her up, telling her, help her out. But it was just like the challenges that the sisters have. So I want to put that out there, that is definitely, it doesn't have to do with race, ethnicity, none of that. Y'all, child, everybody out here struggling, everybody out here struggling and just feeling defeated. I even actually had talked to a white girl. She in New York. Child, both these ladies in New York. I met a lot of people. So I was on a business trip in Boston. So a lot of my counterparts who are from other parts of the world, listen, Canada, New York, like, child, it was people from everywhere. So I love this annual meeting that I have. And because I'll meet, other people within my company, from different parts of the world. So it was a white girl. She was like, listen, these white guys, yes, they attorneys, they got the education, the money. She was like, but they're narcissists. She was like, they're narcissists. So I can't deal with that. So, and then they talk about how expensive the rent is in New York. So they living with roommates and pay their own parents or siblings because they saying they can't afford to live on their own. So, child, pick a struggle. You got the struggle of trying to pay your bills, and then you got the struggle of dating. Like, how many of y'all are struggling in both of those areas? Because I know here in a lot of people I know in Georgia, they're doing it. It's not as expensive as New York. So they like, listen, I can pay my bills. I'm good financially. The dating part is a mess, but that's fine. As long as I got my money, I'm good. But are some of y'all in a situation where the money ain't right and the relationship part ain't right? So you like, damn, I just can't catch a break. I can't catch a break. I can't catch a break. So I'm like, wow, this is a real issue. We do need one another in order to procreate and keep this thing going. Are we just, it's going to be a norm just to have just the hookups and then the baby mama, child, will we start seeing baby mamas and baby daddies in the Indian community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community? Because y'all know it's heavy in our community. But will those numbers start growing in the other communities? Because they're saying, hey, I'm having struggles too. I'm having struggles too. And it's very disheartening, but it's the reality. And it seemed like it doesn't matter like what state where you live. It's just a struggle that people are experiencing. Virtuous says both of them have the worst advice, so they not marrying for love no more these days. Child, can people afford to marry for love these days? Inflation with the economy. Like, to me, as we, in the news, like, we're constantly hearing about just the cost of things. We're hearing about the cost of things. So with that being said, do you think that really kind of pushes the person, the woman, to really think about money and put that in the forefront as they're trying to navigate through the dating experience? Because if you're like, damn, I done told y'all I met the white girl and the Indian girl in New York. Both of them are, I think the white girl was like 28. The Indian girl was like 25. Both of them living, both of them got roommates. Both of them struggling with dating, but both of them doing decent with money. But y'all, they live in New York. So it's like they said they'll never be able to buy a house or live on their own. Like, they didn't already wrap their mind around that. As long as they live in New York, they're like, I just know it's not possible for me to ever buy a house. So with that being said, they're like, when you are dating, Does that cause for someone to really be hyper focused on the money that the man who's coming to them make, because they're like, shit, so stuff's so expensive to where I have to factor that in. I cannot afford to not factor that in. I gotta factor it in. So I'm keeping that in mind too, y'all. Listen, I be listening. I'm trying to understand so I can help with the answers. Lil Paul said, I enjoy my time too much to throw a man up in the mix. It's time for men and women to just enjoy our time together without looking for certain things that benefit our narrative. Just go have fun. Lil Paul, I think that's what it's turned to, that more people are doing right now. People are just trying to have fun and just not trying to take anyone serious because of just not have been able to have all the boxes checked. How many of y'all familiar with Kendra G, her dating show on the internet? She does a little call-in show. She started it during the pandemic. And I had learned, I think over the weekend, I was listening to someone talk about that she was doing like live meetups with the dating. I didn't know she was doing that. I knew she had a dating app coming out, but so she had the dating app did come out, and then this year she was doing like some meetups. She did it in like 3-4 cities. And they were like, her most recent meetup, I think it was like September 30th in Philly. They were like, it was like barely anybody that came out. And then they were like, the person who was there, she just was in the area and she stopped by because she just wanted to meet Kendra G. She was like, when she went in, it was hardly anybody in there. And then one guy walked in who was tall. He had pulled up in like a Bentley truck. Like all the women's eyes were just on him. So it was almost like, okay, you got these women, but then you have one man. Because a lot of the women, you know, with what they say, the 6'6", 6 feet, 6 figure, like all the sixes. So this man apparently walked in, had all that going for him. So all the ladies was just looking at him. But they were like, Kendra didn't even show up for her show. Prior to, apparently in the other city she was in, she was advertising the show was selling out, this, that, and the third. But people have been saying it's mostly women who show up to these meetups, you know, for dating. A lot of men do not participate. I've heard of that happening in particular at meetups like in Texas, here in Atlanta. I knew someone back in the fall. I helped her get all pretty and everything, get dressed and ready to go to one. She did go. She said her feedback from it was she didn't find it to be diverse enough. So she would have liked to see more ethnic groups there versus just all Black. She said it was probably, she felt like a 50-50 with male, female, but she just would have liked for it to be a more diverse crowd of people. So now we have this day and time where you have a lot of women who are starting to look outside of their community. I asked the young Indian girl, like when she was explaining the challenges she was having with the men, have you been open to other groups of people, things like that? Because she was like, listen, I can't even imagine getting on these dating apps. It's weird or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I think you're beautiful. I'm sure other groups of men may find you beautiful, Black, white, whatever. Are you open for that? Child, I tell all women, even men, just open up your options. Don't just be stuck in, okay, the person has to look like this or has to make this amount of money. You have to expand your options, especially, child, I feel like the older we get. I think you really need to start really evaluating that list and figuring out what's really important. And some of y'all list is just crazy. Y'all know y'all list be crazy. You bet. I don't want no ugly kids. So that's the thing, you bet. So as Shira said, listen, he can look like a mud duck. You got to factor in, are you out of childbearing years? Have you already had your babies? And now your next man, we ain't having no kids anyway. So it really don't matter what he look like. Because child, them ugly genes sometimes be real strong. They be real strong. But sometimes the other person's genes, the more attractive person's genes, can kind of take over. So you don't know. It's like Russian roulette. You don't know. It's a flip of a coin, and the baby look just like their daddy. So you don't know. So I get it. Listen, I do not wish to be in a position to be on the scene. because I just hear listen, it's just talks of struggle. It's talks of struggle. You better say your husband's handsome. You didn't have to worry. Thank you, girl. No, I didn't have to worry. I'm trying to think, have I ever dated? I don't think I've ever dated anyone that wasn't attractive. But listen, child, listen now. Listen, come on in. I'm talking to y'all. He ain't here. He probably listened to my live at work. Listen, Linda, listen. I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm just gonna let y'all know. If I were to be on the dating scene right now, I wouldn't be leading with looks. I promise you, I would not. Nope, I would not be leading with looks. That next one probably ain't gonna look nothing like what you're seeing on the internet, on YouTube, and that picture. Because to me, as I've gotten older, I understand that it's not about looks. It's not. It's just so many. It's so much to me that you got to factor in when you're trying to make a decision on being with someone. And to me, looks is not the priority. I'm just sorry. It's not. It's a nice looks to me go in the category of it's nice if you have it. But as far as the must have, nah, it's not a must have. It is not a must have because, like I said, over the years, like I've seen so many men who not killing it, and the looks isn't fully there, but they got all these other strong attributes and the things that really count. Somebody who can be the protector, the provider, somebody who's gonna be loyal to you. A lot of times, them ones that's the lookers, child, they know they a looker. They know they are a looker. And they be outside. A lot of times they be outside. While you looking, they looking too. So you got to ask yourself, do you really want that super ultra attractive person? Because, and men have to ask that too, ask themselves that question too, is because if she's somebody that's a baddie and everywhere she go, people trying to holler, that's going to be your experience being with that woman, even if that is your wife. Initially, when somebody see her, they're not gonna know that's your wife. They're gonna initially just see this bad woman, right? And it's gonna take for them to kind of get closer, maybe see the ring or see you around, be like, oh, okay, she with him. But you got to ask yourself, do you want that type of energy on a regular where you're with someone that everybody wants to be with? Like, you really got what they say, be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for. So especially if you're beyond the childbearing years, really, I don't feel like, listen, I'm with Cher on that one. I'm with Cher on that one. Looks don't need to be at the top right now, especially if you're not in childbearing years. No. Because like I said, from what I've seen over the years, a lot of times them super attractive ones, they don't be having a ish together like you would like for them to. They don't. Because a lot of times they're used to having women take care of them, be providers a lot. You got a lot of, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. There are a lot of men who are kept men. Do you listen? They are already out here be talking about Peach McIntyre. I seen she put a post on her community page talking about would get Fridays off every Friday. I don't know if every Friday or once a month he get a Friday off, where she said she don't call and bother him. The kids don't. She said that's his day off because he's an at-home dad. So that's his day off. Wood is a kept man, child. I said that is a kept man right there. That's a kept man. If y'all ain't seen it, it's on her community page. This is Peach McIntyre. Y'all know Peach Shell. She was the damn storm chaser a couple of weeks ago. Y'all know Peach. She got many jobs and many kids, and she's with child. So she got a lot going on, and Wood is at the house holding it down. So she like, listen, Wood be off on Fridays. I think she might have said one Friday out of the month he can go make a do with a do, and they don't bother him. They don't bother him. So listen, people had their opinions on that, but what I'm saying is that you have a lot of kept men. Wood to me goes in the category of being a kept man. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. You have a lot of kept men. Typically, a kept man is going to be a man who's attractive, and because he looks a certain way, you have women who are going to be willing to pay. Like Shira said, you need to find you a man to pay like you weigh. You got some men who are on that tip to where they date women who gonna pay like they weigh. They date women who got really good jobs. They date women a lot of time from an aesthetic standpoint. They severely overweight. They don't have people knocking down the door trying to date them, but they got that paper. They got these attorneys. I live in Atlanta. It's a lot of attorneys here. doctors, a lot of professional women, and a lot of these women who got it going on when it comes to just the finances. But in the physical, there's some struggles there. There's some struggles. And you have some women to where they recognize the struggles they have and they are willing. They willing to pay like they weigh. They like, listen, it's an exchange. What they say, ain't no robbery and fair exchange. It's an exchange. It's transactional. So they like, yo, you come through. I knew somebody like this. You come through. And I remember having a conversation with my mom about the situation. She was so confused, like, well, why is he with him, where her money and her resources look like that, and he ain't got it? I said, it's transactional. She's not looking for money and resources. She got that. She's looking for what she can't provide herself, which is that thing. That's where he come in there at. You get it? That's where he come in there at. So she wasn't understanding. But listen, that is the case for a lot of people. They're like, listen, you got something I want. I got something you want. And we going to come together and make it do what it do. Like Lil Paul said, I think, listen, we get together and we just have fun. That is what's happening. But a lot of these people who are having these type of transactions, they genuinely want something real, but they're settling for these type of transactions because they feel like, shit, it ain't nothing else out there. This is about as good as it gets. A lot of people, they don't want to be lonely. So Pam says, good looking couple. Thank you, Pam. They don't want to be lonely. So they're willing to play the game with the man. I know someone right now, like every damn 3 months, say she's breaking up because he not giving her what she needs. It's a long distance relationship, but she ends up getting back with him. So in my mind, I'm like, well, that ain't gonna motivate him to show up any differently for her because he already know this is what she does like clockwork. Listen, what they say, I can show you better than I can tell you. So you have to be action oriented. And if somebody see that you just get pissed off and then moments later you're going to be all good, then they going to keep playing you. It's like kids. Like they're not going to take you serious if you keep threatening them saying, you do that again, I'm going to do this. And they do it 5 times and you never do it. People are the same way. They're going to look for you to take action. And when you don't take action, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. He or she, they just say whatever, but they don't be doing that. So nobody don't take you serious. So that's how I look at this person in her relationship. Like, Josh, I know, she wanted to get married. So, and she been dating this man for about 3-4 years. So I'm like, he ain't finna give you, you saying they in their 50s. I'm like, he ain't ever been married before. She has. So I'm like, he ain't finna give you what you want because you still entertaining him with him giving what he giving. Listen, you got to action speaks louder than words. I'm just saying. I'm out the dating scene, but I didn't know that much. Action speaks louder than words. You have to be consistent. That was a rule 20 plus years ago when I was on the dating scene. Action speaks louder than words. Consistency. That is evergreen, y'all. So that still applies today. That regardless if we got internet, it still applies today. Lil Paul says, like my personal space too much to add a man to the mix. But we need to get back to just enjoying each other and having fun versus what do you bring to the table that benefits me versus us. Listen. Hey, T Goddess. Say, hey, y'all. Congrats on 20 years marriage. Thank you, T Goddess. Welcome. Tanae says, hey, y'all, listen while at work. Hey, Tanae. Y'all, listen, I'm here to help. I'm getting through the comments. I may need to jump down to the bottom. I don't know how many is in here, but I want to help however I can. And I do understand it's a struggle out here when it comes to dating, but I'm going to say, start with thinking about what's most important to you. Think about that. And as you think about what's most important to you, think about if you've been able to get the results that you want based off of what you've identified as most important to you. Everybody want the 1%. Everybody want the 6 foot tall man. Everybody want everything. So yes, you can have your list, but has it been working out for you? Have you been successful with finding these people that match the criteria on this list that you came up with? Are we in a season of having to reevaluate our list and see if then maybe there's some things that we need to tweak with that list? That's what I'm saying, because we all have our requirements, our lists, our wants, or whatever. But how long are we willing to just hold tight to that list and not make no changes, and we still not get the results. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to stop and evaluate it. You got to stop and evaluate that list. Like, damn, like, I know I got this on my list. I always want to be able to look up at my man. I want to look up at him. I want to rest my head on his chest. I wanted him to be able to pick me up. I wanted all of that. But think about it. Is that realistic for you where you are? Child, I live in Atlanta. It's a lot of, my husband always point out when he first moved here, because we come from California, it's a lot of short men here in Atlanta. Are you geographically in an area where there are a lot of tall men? Let's just start there. Are you geographically in an area where there are a lot of tall men? Are you geographically in an area where there are a lot of men that makes a certain amount of money, six figures, whatever it is that you're looking for? You have to evaluate that. If you don't damn know, it will behoove you to get on the internet and Google it. Google it, because it makes no sense for you to be physically in a location, want some ish that ain't gonna be feasibly responsible, because why? They don't damn live there. So you got to start somewhere. You got to do your research. You got to do your research. Now, if you see that where you live, the things that you got on your list ain't showing up there, you need to then research where it's showing up at. Research where the 6-footer is, where the high earner is. Research that, because guess what, mama? You might have to move. You might have to pick up and move. You might have to move. You might have to move. You got to ask yourself, are you good with that? Are you okay with possibly relocating in order to get the desired results? And that's the thing. A lot of people are just stuck in, okay, I don't want to move. I want to live here. But you know, in reality, where you're physically at, listen, it's a struggle. Pickings are slim, but you're like, I don't want to move. Okay. People in hell want ice water. Sometimes it's not about like what you want to do. What they say, sometimes you have to get uncomfortable temporarily in order to get to where you want, which is your comfort. So you got to stop and think about that, y'all. Sue says, hey, she can chat at work, getting ready to go in. I don't know. She's 7 either. If time permits, I'll try to look her up. Yes, look up Shira. I'm sure y'all know, like when y'all see her, you just probably just didn't know her name. But I don't see how anybody on the internet these days don't, especially with this content. And if my material come up as recommendation, child, Shira and popped up at some point. She has popped up at some point. Kathleen says, I like listening to your live chats. Hey, Kathleen, thank you, y'all. Nikki says she is either 44 or 45, my age, yes. Okay, so around my age, Nikki, we together. Lil Paul says, virtuous on right. I'm such a romantic. I have to marry for love. I walked out of my first marriage with my clothes, my car, my kid. Not the best financial decision, but the best choice for my health. I believe in that. I believe that's what it's about. And those are the things that should come first before the finances, because the Lord, if you could always say when you in something bad, I was just telling someone today, a friend of mine today, been divorced for 6 months now. She just officially made him leave her house. So they was divorced for like 6 months already, but she was still letting him stay there and help her out, with, her grandkids, whatever. And, we talked about, and she said it was kind of a level of codependency there. So, because you get used to somebody being there. And that's the thing, you all. And I told her, I said, the thing I find with relationships is far, or even change, period. But we're talking about relationships. It's so much easier to stay in a situation than to leave. When I see someone exit a situation, that's the one I'm trying to give props to, because I know change is so hard for many of us. It's hard. Staying in a situation, that's comfort. Even if we hurting and we sad or whatever, we know what we're getting. We're not dealing with the unknown. When you make the decision to leave, y'all, that's the unknown. And that is scary for a lot of people. It's just like, oh my God, I know the situation I'm in is bad, but if I leave, I don't know if that's going to be work. I don't know. So let me just stay here, because at least I know what I'm getting. And that be the case for a lot of relationships, a lot of situations, whether it's your job, it's like, okay, I hate this job. It's a paycheck, but I don't want to take a chance and go somewhere else because I may get laid off or I may not like the job. So you find yourself being one of those people who year after year after year stay in the same situation. And guess what? Complaining, because that's what the hell you do when you ain't feeling good about your situation. You complaining. And I believe I live by the model ish or get off the pot. Like, I'm not a complainer. I'm like, just don't talk about it, be about. If y'all follow me, hey, if y'all new to my channel, I'm Chic. My channel, Chic Speaks. I am a realist, and I just talk about real life stuff from mental health to physical. I'm all about, listen, don't talk about it, be about it, do the work. That's the only way we can get change. It's the only way we can get results. If what you've been doing has not yielded the desired result, guess what, bruh, sis? Listen, we got to do something else. We got to do something else. Y'all, it ain't that deep. You got to do something else. You know what you've been doing ain't working. So what are we doing? Why are we still doing this? Why are we doing this? Why we can't go over here and move around? I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand. If it's no longer serving you, move around. If it's not serving you, move around. That's my message. I ain't heard, I don't know, Shira take on it. Listen, Shira like shit. If the money ain't coming through, move around. I'm just saying in general, whatever. If it's not working for you, move around, do something different. Little Paul, it sounds like that's exactly what you did. And I am happy that it worked out for you. Nikki P said, I've been married for 15 years, but I still like Shira. Yeah, I mean, Shira's a woman. And I feel like as a woman, she's on the internet advocating for women to move in a way that's most advantageous for them. That's what I'll say. I feel like she encourages for women to move in a way that is most advantageous for them. Also, I will add, by nature, women are naturally hypergamous, meaning that we naturally look for a provider. There's nothing wrong with that. That is by nature. We are hypergamous. Now, where it can become a problem is when you put that above all else, meaning the person's character, meaning that what's rolled up into that is hell, how they treating people, how they moving out here in these streets, how they treating you. Are they, are they an honest person? Are they genuine? Like, these are things that to me takes a higher priority than the money, because what happens if they get into the money and it's in an illegal way, and next thing you know, everything come down and they get locked up. Maybe you even get locked up. Somehow they didn't intermingle and got you caught up in some stuff. Y'all, I think I listened. It was a special some years ago. I learned it was maybe Monique comedy special. Y'all remember when Monique, the comedian Monique, had went into the prisons? I think she went to the women's prison and did a comedy show. And I believe from that show, I think it was maybe like a Netflix special, maybe about 7-8 years ago. And I think I learned from that show a stat that majority of women who are locked up, who are in prison, are there behind a man, which means that women will do some crazy stuff when they're in love behind a man. Some of you may be able to relate the things that you know you did that only you and your higher power know, and that man, but you will do some things for a man. And I say that, let me see, where was I going with that? Character. When you're with a man with good character, that's going to help. That'll protect you to where you know he's not going to do some ish that's intentionally getting you caught up. So you got to be careful. It can't be he getting to the money. Y'all better want to know how the hell he getting to the money. Don't be like, well, I don't know how he just got it. No, because this fool can have some ish in your name. Next thing you know, the Fed, somebody coming knocking on your door. You and him both somewhere locked up with P. Diddy. You best to ask questions. Don't be stuck on he getting to the money and you be like, listen, girl, I don't know. I ain't even bother to ask. Nuh-uh. I always promote on this channel with my other anywhere where y'all gonna hear me talking, I promote asking questions. Because guess what? When you go before that judge, you being a fool, dumb, blind, crippled, and crazy, they don't let you go on that. That's not how this works. What do they say? Your ignorance doesn't exalt you from like criminal activity. So Ask questions, show interest. If you see an individual, you start to talk to an individual, you guys get in a relationship, he's into the money, show interest in how he's getting to the money. And don't play crazy to what he says with how he's getting to it and how you see the money show up. That shit ain't making sense. And your gut is telling you something else is going on. Go with it. Especially ladies, if it's not even just you, you got kids now thrown in the mix. Now your freedom on the line. You got the kids. You got to worry about who's going to take care of the kids. Don't get caught up in no foolishness for no dangling. Don't do that. It ain't enough dangling in the world. Do not do that. Ask questions, show interest in what is going on, where this money is coming from, especially when you all are commingling your lives, trying to join finances, y'all underneath the same roof, you got kids in the mix. Ask questions. Don't be, listen, what they say, ignorance is bliss. Don't be sitting there playing crazy, because I promise you that judge, who likely a white man or a white woman, ain't finna go for it. It's not gonna give you no pass to go home. No, you going straight to jail. You going straight to jail. I'm just saying, I done watched enough specials on TV to see how that works. I done watched enough specials. Hello, Blessed Up. How you doing? Hello, Angela. Hello. Naivete. Listen, being naive will not get you sent home. Queen Johnson said, at times, I just think women expect a man to take care of them, but they come with nothing to offer. I've been married for 14 years. Yes, that's the messaging. The messaging is that you look for a man. Y'all ever hear these conversations, this 50-50 whole thing? Y'all, when I was dating years ago, like, that wasn't even things that was even talked about. Like, it's crazy the things that are talked about today to determine if someone is dateable or not. Those weren't things that were talked about 20 years ago. Like, people generally base being together off of just the energy and the connection. Like, legit, it was just that. Like, it wasn't heavily on finance, because likely both of those people had their own thing going on, with money coming in, and they decided to merge their life together. And guess what? People who've been married 20, 30 plus years, the monies that they got, they likely, a lot of times, they built that together. It wasn't that one person came in and just had everything. They built it together. That's what that looks like back then. Today's messaging is, you go out and you find someone and he got everything already built, and then you come on board and you just hop on the train, and then you just bank whatever you got and you just leave it over there. That's today's messaging. All I can say is good damn luck. Good luck, because everybody out trying to get that same small percentage of men, and vast majority of the women who are wanting to get that caliber of man do not qualify. Now, let's talk about what qualify mean. We finna damn start with the damn looks. We gonna start there with the damn looks. A man who's a six-figure earner, a high earner, from a physical and aesthetic standpoint, they can choose and pick whatever type of woman they want. Listen, I'm gonna break it to you, ladies. Some of you may ain't never heard it or just be in denial. A man who is a high earner, meaning six-figure, seven-figure man, if he has the option to be with a woman who is model-esque or a woman who is plus size, he will choose the model-esque woman. So remember, as I said, women are naturally hypergamous. So we're looking for resources. Men aren't looking necessarily for resources in a woman. They're wanting the eye candy. They're wanting someone who is attractive. That's why a lot of times they'll entertain the madness and the craziness coming from an attractive woman, because it's just like, well, hell, she fine though. They willing to deal with it because she looks good. A man likes a woman who's going to make them look good, who they can take to the company Christmas party, who they can kind of have to turn heads. Everyone like, oh my God, who is she? She's beautiful. That is what a man likes. Because as I say, with married couples, the wife represents the man, the husband represents the wife. You're one, you represent one another. So a successful man, it is expected, his peers will expect for him to have an attractive woman on his arm. That's why y'all know they got services out there where you can rent a date, like you can hire somebody to be your date for something, because they know, okay, the assignment is to show up to this event with a baddie, or women show up to this event with an attractive man on their arm. So that's why people are willing to do certain things, put up money to have what it is they want. So that man, if he's willing to pay like he weigh to have that baddie on his arm, because he's not with her for her resources, because your typical man, he's already coming to the table already with his resources. So he's not heavily moved about by your education, your careers, and all that. He might be like, oh, that's cute. But mainly, what's going to take priority? What's going to take priority is how you look. If they're attracted to you, if they find you have a nice body, if they find that your face look good. Those are the things. Think about it. Think of some ugly men. Remember, we done been talked about mud ducks at the beginning of the show. Think about attractive men you've seen, and you see him with a baddie or attractive woman. You be like, damn, how he get her? But you really know how he got her. But you still like, damn. But you know what it's about. Like, she just with him for the money. It's so obvious. Like, you just know. You just know. Because the man, he don't care that you with him for his money, because remember, it's a give and take. It's a give and take. So they know, well, yeah, she here for my money, but damn it, hell, I'm here for what I'm about to get out of her too. So it's transactional. It's transactional. So ladies, what I suggest, if you on this dating market and you're not happy with the quality of men that are approaching you, I suggest you take a look and do an assessment of yourself and see if there's anything that you can change about yourself to enhance yourself, to present a better version of yourself. I also like to tell ladies, if there's a certain type of man that you like to date, do your research and figure out what type of women do they like to date. What I mean by that is research from an aesthetic standpoint, because with anything, whether it's man or woman, the first thing that we're going to see the person before we even come to learn their personality. Most of us aren't getting set up through a blind date and we already know we like the person before we see him. That's not the case for most of us. Most of us out here, or people out here, they're out and about and they see someone. So there's the first physical attraction. So ladies, do a self-assessment. Are you giving what you want to give? This type of man that you like, try to learn, do your research to learn the type of women they normally date. What do they look like? That will give you an idea of whether or not your ass gonna make the cut. Because if you 350 and you see that when you came across their Instagram, and everybody they jet setting with looking like they 130, 140, then baby, listen, Linda, listen, what we doing? We don't even need to waste our time, because you're gonna mess around and probably get used for your resources, your good credit or something. You're gonna get used. So don't be fooled. Be a realist. Do your research. See if what you're giving is what he likes, because you'll be able to tell that. And hell, a lot of times he gonna let you know too. He gonna let you know. You're gonna be able to tell if this man feeling you or not. You're gonna be able to tell. So it might hurt your feelings, but goddamn it, it is what it is. It is what it is. Just listen, ladies, get it together. I got some fitness videos when I'm not doing long form contact. Child, I'm up here goddamn squatting it out in front of the camera on YouTube live. So I'm trying to help you get the weight off, because a lot of women, I feel like they're not getting the results they want in the dating scene because their look isn't kind of, where it could be. So I want to help you get that in order, because I really feel like it will be a game changer for many of you when it comes to the looks. Like Kendra G's show, as I talked about on her show, there was some guys who came back, for a second time on her show. And they were like, she's like, well, what happened the first time? And they were like, well, the women who was showing up in my DMs weren't really my type. Well, what do you mean? Well, they were like bigger than I wanted. Like it was multiple men. The main issue was the weight. It's like the women, they were just bigger than, really what I want. I like a smaller, more healthier looking woman, healthy frames, healthy size, but they were bigger. And then they had, kids and things like that. So listen, men will tell you, what it is they're looking for. listen, you might get in your feelings about some of the things they say, but God damn it, listen, they can't tell you what you want, just like you can't tell them what they want. It's just a matter of if y'all line up and y'all can meet in the middle and give what the other one wants. Otherwise, that's just not your person. But you can't get upset with someone's preference, because a preference is a preference. If somebody desires somebody smaller, then it is what it is. You can't get pissed off and say, well, listen, I'm just me. I'm just going to do me. You can do that all you damn want to. But again, I like to bring it back to you. Are you getting the results? Are you getting the results? That's going to tell you, like, you ain't even got to goddamn listen to me. Y'all ain't got to listen to a damn thing I say. I challenge you. My question is, are you getting the desired results? Only you can answer that. Be truthful with yourself. If you're getting the results that you want, baby, do what you're doing. If you're not getting the results you want, I just challenge you to try to do something different. I mean, it's not that deep, just do something different, and for the purpose of getting a different results, because that's what I want. I want you all to get the results you want. And that's why I come out here and speak the way I do as pertains to mental health and even physical fitness. You just got to be willing to do the work, get out your feelings, do the work and make those changes right now. If you're not dating, cool. Use this as a season to get into yourself, to better yourself, get your headspace right, get your body right. And then, when you good, you ready, then, jump on out there. You're going to jump off the porch. But right now, you can let this season be a season of just doing you, like getting yourself together. And I think that's what should happen first before any of us any of you choose to go out there and date. Make sure you're good. Make sure you're good from within. So therefore, okay, I'm ready. I'm good. I'm ready to get out there. Don't be going outside messing up somebody's damn life when you know you effed up. Don't be doing that. What they say, if your day going bad, don't go out there messing up somebody else's day. You know if you're good or not. If you're not good, work on yourself. Work on yourself. But if you're not good, I ain't got to tell you ain't good. You know if you're not good. Virtuous says, yes, I'm married 27 years. And yes, it's been very different from the 90s. The Netflix movie you're talking about is Sweet Bobby. Thank you, Virtuous Woman. That is it. Sweet Bobby. Y'all get into Sweet Bobby. I definitely want to watch that because Sweet Bobby was with the shits. Sweet Bobby was playing games, y'all. I said, I know they ain't playing games like that over in India or Dubai. I know they ain't playing games like that. Didn't they say this the black man game? Didn't they say this the black man game? What are we doing, Bobby? What are we doing? Y'all get into that show. I just seen the advertisement of it and I was like, my. Blessed Up said, yes, dating nowadays are very scary. I stay put until God says otherwise. Yes. That's why I say, let this be a season where you work on you, because when you're ready, you're going to be ready. Work on you, and he'll send that person to you. He gonna send it when if you ain't ready, he ain't gonna send somebody who's ready to somebody who's not ready. So that's the thing people sit in. If you know you're good and you're ready, he's not gonna send somebody else to wreak havoc on your life. You're gonna be able to kind of repel against that energy because you're so good to where you recognize the foolishness as it's coming. But when you ain't good, then you ain't recognizing the foolishness on that level, because what I say, like attracts like. So you with the ish and they with the itch too. So y'all merging together and y'all just damn wreaking havoc. So get your lives together, y'all. Get your lives all the way together. And just, I've been off the market for 40 years, very happy in my marriage. Happy to hear that, Angela. Thank you for sharing that and inspiring others, myself and many other people. Virtuous Woman says, Lil Paul, I feel you. Like, how can you marry for anything other than love? That would drive me crazy to settle for a man for money or looks. It's so many people doing it. It's a lot of people doing it. And I now just happen, I feel like a lot of it is contributing to just messaging that people are getting, in like social media, music. Y'all think about it. A lot of the music that we listen to with, say the female artists, say the rappers, everything is about some getting with a man with money and resources and things like that. That's the messaging like that's put out there. It's nothing like, I don't be hearing no messaging centered around love. Y'all remember back in the day in the 90s song, all the songs was these love songs. Brian McKnight, Aaron Hall, New Edition, like it was just everything was love. It was just love. Y'all, we don't hear anything in like music really, at least in like the Black R&B sector, rap, like anything really centered around love like that. It's about like, from the men's perspective, it's the superficial things, the body, the skin complexion, the hair type. And then with the women, it's about the money. Because remember, I say women hypergamous, but now they didn't kind of took that to another level to now put the messaging out, which is to lead with it, not to factor that in. Can he protect? Can he provide? And all of that. They put it in this music in a way, to encourage women to lead with that. And y'all listen, P, speaking of leading, P. Diddy, that is what he's always led with. And look how women who have fallen for that, look at the quality of lives they've had as a result of being with a man because of what their bank account looked like. If y'all ain't learned nothing else, this is a time to where from that situation alone, it ought to tell you that it's not always about the money. And what they say, you get what you ask for. You say you want a man with all the money and all the resources, all the cars or whatever. Okay, you gonna get that. But if you ain't specific and talking about those other things that he need to come with too, because what they say when you ask the Lord, you got to be specific. And a lot of times people just leaving that, he need to be fine, big D, he need to have a lot of money, period. Like that's it. And that is what they're getting. That is what they're getting. And they get knocked upside the head, violated, embarrassed, used, and abused, all for a dime or dollar. Now they need damn years of counseling. The kids probably gonna need years of counseling because they've been raised by somebody who is so traumatized from what they've gone through. Y'all better be careful what y'all ask for out here. Y'all best to be careful what you ask for out here. Ariane says, hey everyone, I'm late. We'll do the replay here. Ariane, welcome. Generation X80 says, I've been married for 22 years, left my career 4 years ago to stay at home, which is what my husband wanted. We have held each other down since our teens. That's what it's about. Being a rider, having a rider. And that's just not something you see when you do hear stories about being with somebody who, who's your rider and all that. It's going to be where they've been together for years like this, 20 plus years. But in today's time, you're not really seeing people connect on that level to where their mindset is to be a rider for one another. That is not the mindset that people have today as they're entering relationships. Because guess what? What she's not going to do is tell you to be a rider for nobody. She's going to tell you to ride that credit card. You're like, but she's not finna tell you to be a rider, Lord. She's not finna do that. Her messaging is going to be, you are loyal to the bottom line. You are loyal to the funds, to the finances. All else, you just work it out. Just make sure the money right. That is the primary message. Everything, it starts with the money. Everything starts with the money. So be careful with that. Be careful. Lil Paul says you can marry for love and help each other level up financially because it does take two incomes to thrive in this area. Exactly. And given that the fact that so many conversations are centered around 50-50 is crazy, because it's just like most relationships, just non-celebrity relationships, just with regular everyday people, it's a lifestyle that's built off of two incomes. Even if one person in the house makes significantly more, there is two incomes more often than not in the household. And here's the thing, you all, some households say if you take away one income, guess what? It's going to be felt. So would you rather have the better quality of life with two incomes, or have to scale it all the way back with one income? Like, so if you're willing to deal with what comes with having two incomes and sharing in responsibilities in order to have what may be a better quality of life, why not? It's almost like saying each person makes $90,000. And so basic math, common sense. Are you good with the 90,000? Or would you feel better about life with the 180,000 coming into a household each year and having kids and all of that? So yeah, you can easily have the 90,000, but would you rather build your life off of the 90, or would you rather build your life off of the 180K? Like it's about like what are you willing to sacrifice? So that's the thing. You can't say, I want him to do this, and that. But though you want to complain about the things you don't have or the quality of your life. Well, you said you didn't want to pay for nothing and you wanted him to do it all. So you don't understand the fact that since it's only one income, you're not going to have as much money to play around with as you would if there were two incomes. Maybe if you had an income coming in, there would be more. Listen, child. Listen, Linda, listen. I don't know. That's how simple it is for me. That's how I got a lot of shit in my life, because that is my mindset. Like, why settle for one income when I can do this, and that, and we can have more? Like, listen, child, that's been my life. I could have had just, okay, built a life with just one income and I'm just home doing whatever. But I'm like, why? If I can do this and I had this, then listen, I like the idea of more. I like the idea of more. I am a team player, and that's what I've been doing 20 plus years, and it has worked for me. So y'all got to figure out what works for you. And like I said, if what you've been doing ain't been working for you, baby, it's time to move around, do something different. I'm just saying, it's time to do something different. We are not getting younger. We are getting older. So it's time to do something different. Generation X80 said, well, my king has been making six figures for years. Rose is delusional because I doubt Bigfoot ever made that. What education does either have? I'm so confused. Listen, she said Bigfoot went to aerospace. What do you call that? Is that aerospace? Because he wanted to be a pilot at some point. So he's went to school for that and gotten his hours. I think they said he just needs to take the test. So to me, that sounds like what he went through was maybe a certificate program. So she never talked to. Well, no. Let me say. I remember before when I first kind of learned who she was. Some months back before I started covering her content, she made a comment saying he went to college. I don't know what school he went to, what his education was in, but she had said he went to college and he had student loans. And when they got together, basically she helped. She paid off his student loans. I remember her saying that. Now, in a separate conversation, I remember her talking about him getting his credentials to fly planes. He aspired to be a pilot. She said he went to school because at the time he was dating this other woman and they both were in school together. They went to school. He got his hours. Rose's husband, never went to sit for the test to get his license. His ex-girlfriend did. She sat for the test and got her license. So she's doing her thing right now. Brett never went to take the test. So Brett got some stuff, so going off of that, there are some type of credentials or things that he just has to follow through with the process with getting his pilot license. Rose have said, listen, as far as it goes for her, it's just a high school diploma. Now, even with that being said, that's not necessarily nothing wrong with if you just only have education up to high school. There's a lot of people who do very well in life who didn't get higher education. It's just about the decisions that you make in life. So just, because not everything that you can get rich from requires you to have education. I always say it just comes down to your willingness to learn. And to learn something does not necessarily mean it has to be done in a college environment in a classroom. You can learn things online. You can, do certificate courses. Like there's different things, teaching yourself, be an apprentice, learn things from people. It's just being willing to learn, to explore ways to make money. So again, it's the effort. It's just putting effort and finding out how to get to the money, because everything does not start with college in order to get to the money. It doesn't. It does not. Higher education can be nice, but I don't believe that it's always necessary. It's not always necessary. And many of you in here probably can attest to that, you've been able to make big moves and it wasn't centered around your college education, because you either didn't have one or you do have a college education, but you're like, what you do ain't got nothing to do with your college education. Because most people, from what I've come to learn, they're not even in the field of anything centered around what they went and got their education in. Like, y'all, I have a lot of educations, and I'm in a field of business, but I don't feel like, I don't know. It's not necessarily anything that's centered around where I had to have as much education as I have to be where I'm at. I just, you just got to figure it out, do your research, and figure out what it's going to take to get to where you're trying to go. And guess what? That's all of our responsibilities for ourselves to figure that out. To figure that out. Vicky says, "Hey, Chic Rhoda. Hello, Vicky. How you doing? How are you? How are you?" Virtuous says, "Money may play a part. I agree, but for me, I haven't worked 25 years and grateful he can provide for us both. But love have to be in it for me, because if not, my tolerance level would have me divorced." Exactly, because that's the thing when you're in relationships. I say love is fluid. Like you're not always one another's favorite person. So it has to be rooted in so much more, because those are going to be the things that's going to keep you grounded and keep you together. When you know. So, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know about that because they only maybe got into it for one reason and say, hold on one moment. Let me see. All right, I'm back. So I want to say that in a relationship, there's so much that you're going through, to where, say, if you're just with the person on them for the money or resources, if things happen and it impacts that and the money and the resources, like the money isn't there, then guess what? You're going to be quick to check out, because hell, that's what had you there to begin with. So if that's not there anymore like it was, it's not going to be nothing for you to just go step out or walk away and go find somebody else to replace that person. Whereas if there were other things that your relationship was built on, then you're more apt to still stick around in that situation and try to navigate through those challenges and really hold on to all those other reasons that you have for being with that person or one another. So I think that a lot of relationships don't work because they didn't have the strong foundation, meaning that it was built on some superficial things, and money, resources, looks, like all those things kind of come and go. Like you can be beautiful today and have the hot body or whatever, but then push out 3 kids and now you're not looking quite the same. So if he was only with you for your looks and now he's not per se finding you as attractive like that anymore, guess what? He may, start to move around or want to do something else because it wasn't really grounded on anything else outside of just your physical appearance. Just as you may look at him, say, when it came to maybe his resources, if those resources aren't there anymore like it once was, you're going to be more apt to kind of look around and try to figure out what else you can do, because wasn't nothing else that you can kind of hold on to, because all it was about was their resources. So when and I think a lot of times the people who put up, big numbers in marriages, there's multiple things that had them be together. It wasn't just one thing, because at any given time, say if it's 10 different things that you have while y'all together, there's going to be some things falling apart or becoming very weak in any of those areas. So you're going to have all those other areas to hold on to get you through until you get strength back into those areas that started to weaken. That is the thing. If y'all want to know how people a lot of times stay married for long periods of time, that's because it never was about one thing why they were with that person. They can name out multiple reasons why they have been with that person. And a lot of times it's rooted in just the love and respect and admiration that they have for that person. Like they just find that person to just be a really good heart, solid person, somebody who wants to provide and protect and do these things for the family. And they may just found themselves in a situation that got in the way of them being able to do that. But it has nothing to do with their desire or want to do it. So you're like, this person, you're like, I know he wants to do this and that. It's not his fault he got laid off. Now he's in the market looking for another job. And the jobs that he's getting offers for is paying X amount of dollars less than what he was making. That's not his fault. And somebody who wasn't with him for his finances, it's not going to be hard for them to understand that. They're going to know, like, okay, we're going to have to make some changes in what we got going on here because circumstances have changed. It's not going to be something you got to get sold on. It's going to be like no brainer common sense. Like, it's going to be no brainer common sense. It's not common sense to those people who was with the person for the wrong damn reasons to begin with. Them people ain't got a clue. They like, what you mean they let you go? Well, play it. You know this mean I got to go and do something else, right? Yeah, I just need to make sure you understand that if you don't go and replace that, then this a done deal. Like, this be how it be going down, whether they verbally say it or not. Their actions will show it. And these men being their feelings, they look up and that PYT, she's suddenly gone. And they all drinking and talking to their boys like, man, she was just with me for the money. I shouldn't, they be knowing. But in the moment, they don't care because they getting what they want. They don't start caring that that woman was only there for a season or use them until when they're no longer able to produce for them. Then that's when they want to get in their feelings and act like they having an epiphany of why the person was there. You knew damn well why this person was there all this time. You knew why, because you know when you're with somebody and you know it's about the resources. Like, these men ain't crazy. They know when they with a woman who's about the money, because the way she speaks, she moves, her language, how she gets excited, they pick that up. They know, okay, she like the money, she love jewelry, she love like, they know this stuff, but they don't care because they're getting what they want, which is you, whatever it is that you're giving to them. They start caring when you dip out, and now you everything but a child of God, because they feeling like, oh, you use me, you this and that. But sir, when she was there, you was getting your benefits too now. You was getting, listen, don't act like she was just sitting there and just something on your arm. There was other things popping off in that relationships. There's other types of transactions taking place. So don't do that. Don't do that, because had she not left and she still was about the money, you would still be fine with producing. So a lot of times people set themselves up for a lot of situations for their own selfish reasons. And at best, we can just hope what they say, you live and you learn. That's the best outcome. And some folks just act like they just don't learn, and they continuously repeat themselves. They're going through divorce court, getting half they ish taken. It's just like, damn, you done learned the last 2, 3, 4 times. But most of us, I like to believe that we are learning our lessons, because as you get older, you can't afford to be dumb and take those type of hits. Women, we got 401ks on the line, you got retirement plans. You cannot afford to be stupid for people, men and women. You better make sure that the person you with is on the up and up, because they will leave you dry and go through all your resources. Women, you giving men money out your retirement account so they can start the little business up, buy a little car, whatever. Next thing you know, he done dipped up out on you, or he cheating on you, and now he gone now, and you like 50, 60, 70, $100,000, short in your retirement funds because you didn't, trusted or believed in this man who told you that he had dreams. He was Martin Luther King Jr. out here on, I had a dream. He just sold you this dream, and you just trying to be a support for your man. You trying to support for your man. But ladies, what I want you to know is that there are certain things that I don't want to see you doing for somebody you're dating that's not your husband. So we'll start with the money and you giving out money and things like that. Do not do that and men too, for women. Don't be doing all that when you forking out thousands and thousands of dollars for somebody who you're dating, who told you was cute, who took you on a few dates, who you sleeping with. Don't do that. Especially as we get older, we can't afford to do stuff like that. Don't do that. It's one thing if y'all went as far as marriage and you're now taking these chances on a person, because at this point, you done damn married them. So hell, if you ain't got faith or trust in them like that, then you shouldn't even be with them. So if you married him and you're wanting to invest in him and all of that, that's fine. Because guess what? Now y'all married, it's community property, whatever you are giving him funds to start up. Guess what? It's yours too, because it's taking place within the marriage. That's now community property. But if things that are taking place outside of a marriage, if you all break up, guess what? Even though you gave him the money to start that business up and it's doing quite well, guess who business that is? That is his business. If your name isn't on any type of paperwork where you're like, you guys have this joint venture and stuff like that. But if you just forked him the money and he just said, oh, okay, when I get up, I'm gonna just pay you back. Okay, he can still be like, okay, I'm gonna eventually pay you back, but right now we're not together. And he continuing to go on and grow that business that you sponsored. You sponsored. Y'all, we listen, we can't be playing dumb out here. The way this economy is going, you got to be strategic. And for some of us, if you feel like it's best and it's safer to just be single and to not even get caught up, do that. Go with your gut, because all I'm saying is that we can't afford to be taking L's like this when it comes to our finances, when it comes to just our health with STDs. Like, it's so crazy out here. I'll hear the alarming stats on just STDs and the numbers in places like Texas, like Houston, Atlanta. I live here in Atlanta, other places, and it's crazy. So I'm like, damn, like these people out here who are raw dogging y'all. When P. Diddy had that bust, it was nothing in that damn press conference that man showed an exhibit of that was a picture of a condom, a box of condoms. We seen baby oil, but we did not see no condoms. We did not see any condoms. So that means all them shenanigans, all that ish that was taking place, it was unprotected. It was unprotected. Like, that's a scary thought, because look at, people are coming out in droves talking about being violated. And I have yet to hear in any, and y'all on my backup channel, I've been getting into some things. Follow me over there. She speaks on it. And I'll get into the legal documents and everything. I have a legal document where prior to being assaulted, there was a condom used or pulled out. Y'all, I ain't seen that. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all seen it. I ain't seen it yet. I ain't seen it. So that lets me know that all this that was popping off, all this raw dog, like, that's dangerous. It's dangerous. Listen. I'm just saying. Vicky said, I learned the hard way with giving money. Stupid me. Here, I like to say, we live and we learn. And what they say, the first time, shame on you. The second time, shame on me. So you live and you learn. And it's about, and given that you can make that comment, Vicky, that lets me know that you've learned and you're not going to do it again. You've now have, even if you've done it multiple times already, you're now at a point to where, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And listen, it's a lot of people who have stories like yours. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. You just shared yours. T Fit said, that's true. My husband always says I'm about the money, but it's not true. I promise. Listen, I always say, you know your partner. You know your partner. If you with somebody, you know what moves them. Whether if you with a man and you know he's moved by cars, he's moved by guns, electronics. You know what your partner's moved by. If you with a woman, you know she moved by purses, shoes, getting her hair done, her nails. Like, you just know, like, my husband knows, okay, my wife, she likes to, she'd like to go shopping and, buy, she know we about to travel, go on a trip. She want to go shopping and buy some more clothes, and she already got enough clothes. Like, so there's things that you know about your partner. You just have to be realistic. But some of these things about our partner, it's no big deal because it's not really impacting our livelihood like that. What's a big deal is, when somebody's with you for financial reasons and they're draining your bank account, and you can't keep up with replenishing at the rate that they're going through it. Like I said, as you get older, you can't take hits like that. You a woman in your 50s approaching retirement, you damn sure can't take a hit to be stupid for a man when it comes to finances, because you don't have that many more years working to try to rebuild up that retirement account. You don't have those many years. So that money is just going to be lost. So we got to move. We got to be smart out here when we move in these relationships as we're encountering these men. Vicky said, another prime example of listening to my heart and not my head. I was gullible and a fool. Bertram says, Vicky, it's okay. We all been there before, sis. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. I agree. Lesson learned. Listen, I've been married forever, so I haven't experienced that. But most people, I would say, have, because most people haven't been married for 20 plus years either. So, but I would say people who are in the dating scene, I would say the average woman and even a man have stories of where they felt like they were taken advantage of. You got men out here who will speak about women being, taking advantage of them, for their, their finances and things like that. Like I said, I was on a panel and the men were talking about, the big issue that they're seeing with women is that it's been heavily money focused and finance focused, and them just being about what they can get out of them. Tanae says raw dogging. I was working on a case and I hear raw dogging in my headphone. Tanae, listen today. Don't be laughing out loud. You don't know what you're going to hear me say. Yeah, that's that old school. I hear my mama say that. Yeah, I'll hear raw dogging. It's probably my first time even using it. Hilarious. Oh my God. Virtuous says, please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the notification bell. Thank you again, Supermod. Thank you. Thank you. Bless up said that, Vicky, don't beat yourself up, love. I'm sure we all been there a time or two. Living and learning not to make the same mistakes is all we can do. You're so capable of true love. Yes, that is a great message to her. Bless up. Thank you for that. Vicky says, a virtuous woman, Chic, thank you for your words of encouragement. It means a lot. Yes, that's what it's about, building. And that is what I do. Listen, I will build. Listen, I'm going to build you up. That's just what I do. That's just what I do, because I always say I'm no different. I'm no better than the next person. I just tell you how I went about doing things, moving out here in these streets, the decisions that I made. You all, it just starts with being intentional and learning from your experiences and learning from other people's experiences. You do not have to always experience everything for yourself. Most of my life, I paid attention to how a lot of people moved out here in these streets. And I said, you know what? I ain't trying to get caught up. I'm not trying to get caught up in that. I can't do it. So I paid attention. But again, also, I've been married for a really long time, but even with me being married and staying married as long as I have, I've paid attention to still what's been going on in the lives of just the singles out here. And it was nothing about it that had me to say, you know what? I think I want to go ahead and just throw it all away and just go out there and just and get back out there again. I would say probably when I was like 30, at that point, I've been married about 7 years. I was playing around with the idea, child, of trying to be outside. I really was, y'all. My husband was still, he was good. It's just that I was like, I think I want to try something else, because I'd been with him since I was like 19. And I just had this thought of just wanting to just try something else. And it wasn't that, he wasn't a good man or he'd done anything to me. It was just me just feeling like, I'm 30. I just kind of felt different, which I've learned that, women every 10 years, we have this transition. And at 30, I felt like, shit, I'm a woman now. I want to see what's out there. Child, I had 3 kids at the time. My youngest baby was like 1.5. She wasn't even 2 yet. And then my other 2 kids were maybe 7 and 3 or 2. So I had little kids, child, and I was trying to listen. And my husband was like, you're going to regret it. And he would tell me, he was like, you're going to regret it. And I'm like, I'll be all right. Cause I'm the type of person, when I make a decision, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to live with it. I'm not going to I'm just like, oh, well, we'll see, but I just felt like, I just really want to experience just other things just cause. And y'all know how with the T, who is that outside right now? Is that Tia or Tamara? Tia, one of them outside right now. And I'm hearing she's having these regrets and things. And I think her rooted in wanting to be outside was just with doing something different. So I understand what she was feeling, because I've been there. But the difference between me and her is that I didn't actually do it. I didn't do it, and she did it. And I think the reason too, since I didn't do it, is that my husband wanted me to just give our marriage, a longer chance, and for me to just see that things will change. And, what I'm feeling was just gonna, pass on and all that. And he was right, y'all. When I look back at my life, y'all, that was equivalent to about 5 minutes. And so I think about how I could have just really ended it all for just in a temporary emotion, which is what may be happening with this particular twin. Because it is normal for a woman, as I was telling the gentleman on the panel, it is normal for a woman to go through a period of time where you start questioning things, and especially as we're growing, and our bodies change and we start questioning things. That's why it's important to have healthy people around you to talk you through these things, because it's not good to always have somebody who's just going to go along with everything you say. How many of y'all where they'll be like, yes, do that. I'm with you. You still need some people in your life that can be real with you and be like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but have you thought about this way? Are you considering this? Because you may think it's this way, but that ain't, you need to do a temperature check and see really how it's going on down, how it's going. And I feel like she didn't do that, because child, if you just turn on the damn internet and YouTube, outside ain't where you're trying to be. The people outside trying to damn find doors that's unlocked to come inside. So I'm like, I don't know what made her just still jump off the porch the way she did, but I feel like has she really assessed the situation, she would have seen like it ain't what you think it is. And I know that just because, like I said, I can just pay attention and learn from other people. I don't have to experience everything myself. And when my husband wanted me to, give the marriage a little longer to see if I changed, I did. I would say from that period of time, within about a year, within about 12 months, 12 to 24 months, child, I was just like, it just was like no longer like a thing. Probably shorter than that. It just seemed like it was so short. It was just at that time, I had just had my third child. I was just questioning life, feeling like I was just a wife and a mom, no longer feeling like a woman, feeling sexy. And y'all, that's a real thing. Sometimes we can get caught up. Sometimes we can get caught up in being like, feeling like you're just someone's wife or someone's mother, when we're women first, and you lose. And that's how a lot of women will lose themselves, where they stop taking care of themselves, putting clothes on. And, if they normally used to like to wear their makeup, they're just not doing things that made them feel good anymore, because they just feel like they just a machine. So I know that feeling. So that's why I feel like it's important to not lose yourself and forget who you are, because first and foremost, before you were any of those things, you were a woman first. So take care of yourself, pamper yourself. If you like to get your nails done, your hair done, get facials, go do those things. Take care of yourself, because it really makes a difference on your mental health. And I ended up around that time, got laid off my job. So my mental health wasn't the best. I was just going through it. I was just damn going through it, questioning my whole existence. Like, how the hell I got all this education? Listen, at that time I had three degrees. I got 4 right now. I had 3 degrees. And I'm like, what? Why is this my situation? Like, I got this going on. What is going on? But what I eventually concluded is that a higher power positioned me to be in a situation to not work, so I can really nurture my marriage, my family, get into my children, my husband, myself. Like, it was a 12-month period, like exactly almost to the date, where I did not work. And that is like, that 12-month period was me just self-reflecting and going within and just looking at my marriage and fixing, getting into it, because it's like when I was working, it was like a distraction, because I was working, I was away from the home. So when he removed that job, when I got laid off, I didn't have nowhere to go. So I was at home. So I was forced to be in the house to do the work and to prioritize family, and it not be about chasing the dollar in the corporate. So that was my lesson that I learned for that 1 year of my entire adult life, where I didn't work. I've been working since I was 14, 15 years old. Like, so I worked throughout high school. So I've always worked up until that one time for that 1 year. And I just felt like it was the Lord just saying, you know what, you got to sit down. You got some work to do. I see you all over the place. You focus and thinking about it that don't make sense. It ain't important. And you need to focus on this right here. So you focus on this. Once you get this together, then we'll get you a job lined up. Okay. So once he's seen, okay, you done figured it out. And it took me like 6 months to figure out like why I was in my situation, why I wasn't working. I'm like, oh, okay. I got a soul search. Like, it just hit me. It was like an epiphany. It hit me one day, because I'm a person, I'm always seeking answers and trying to understand. I'm like, why? And one day it hit me 6 months in. It was like, you need to sit down. You need to sit down. You need to get into your family. You need to work on this. You need to get connected with your babies. You need to work on building your husband. You need to let go of old, whatever, you had, and you need to let go of that. You need to focus on the now, because and that's the thing about when you're in a marriage, what they say, Lord don't bless no mess. When you are in a marriage, not a dating boyfriend, girlfriend, when you're in a marriage, the Lord will, he blesses that. He does these type of things for a marriage, not no boyfriend, girlfriend, no situationship. This is marriage stuff. That's why it's different. It's different. It's a spirituality thing to where when it's a marriage, the Lord moves in different types of ways. When it's a marriage, it's real different. It's very different. And some of you that may not be married feeling like you just going through the change. Listen, he ain't gonna bless no mess. The Lord don't bless no mess. He's not gonna bless no mess. He just don't, so he, I got the answers eventually, start putting in the work, and it's been up from here. And like I said, y'all, that was like year 7, because what they say, the 7-year itch, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, year 7. That was year 7, and I turned, and I had just turned like 30. So I was year 7. So I was around 30 or somewhere around there. But now it's year 20. So to think that was more like, that was like more than 10 years ago. It's crazy. That's why I say when I look back on my life, that was equivalent of like 5 minutes. So imagine you all if I would have threw my whole situation away for that feeling that I felt. Because women, y'all know, 1 minute we're like, I can't stand your and you be willing to just throw it all away because we're emotional. And then the next minute you all good. So imagine. So that's why I say, women, don't be so quick to make a decision on emotion. Calm down. Like, let some time go, because sometimes that emotion and what we're feeling, it's so intense that we feel like it's a feeling that's lasting forever. Like it's not going anywhere. And you just want to move around and you want that feeling to go away, but you don't realize that it's temporary. But it feels so strong to where you be like, I got to move around. I don't like how this feeling. But it is temporarily. You got to give it a chance. Don't be so quick to throw it away. And just like I'm talking about with one of the twins out of the T and Tamara child, I get them mixed up, which one going through it. I think it's Tamara. She's realizing from what I'm coming to hear that, wow, okay, I know I was feeling this, when I threw my marriage away, but today, I'm feeling different now, okay, Corey, what you doing over there? Because it's like she had that emotion and she was quick to react on it. And then now fast forward, a year or 2 later, and it's just like, oh, okay, I don't feel that way anymore. And she done threw the whole marriage away. It be like that. So that's why I understand what she did. Only difference between me and her is that I didn't go through with it. I felt it. I just didn't go through with it. And she went through with it. So, she has to live with the decisions that she made. She has to live with it. And that's any of us. We have to live with the decisions that we make. Tanae says, let me be careful before I accidentally type raw dog into my case notes. The subconscious be listening, child. Don't do it. Don't do it. They be like, raw dog. Tanae, can I speak with you, please? Hilarious. You all, please check me out on Chic Speaks, my backup channel. Chic Speaks on it. I'm sorry. Chic Speaks on it. So you just add the 2 words on it. Check me out over there. Y'all been heavy covering the Diddy content, child. Like I said, I've been traveling a bit. And in the midst of that, like it'll be so much that go down to where when I come back, I'm like, what the hell I'm supposed to start and picking up? So now I'm trying to move around, and I'm probably going to, try to cover some other stuff over on that channel, because child, I'm so tired of him over there, and I'm tired of the rose and bread on this channel. So I'm trying to move around with just my discussions and things to talk about, because y'all, I be having opinions on all kinds of things. So listen, it's just about, what you all be here for, to listen to me talk about. So I thank each and every one of you for coming through today to hear me talk to you all about just this relationship thing, because this is what I came onto YouTube doing back in like 2020, 4 years ago. I was talking about relationships, but then I just started to feel like people really weren't here for the relationships talk. Like people weren't here for like the solutions. They just want to complain. And it's just so many panels and with people complaining about what the man not doing, what the women not doing. And I just didn't feel like people really wanted solutions or answers. They just wanted to vent. And I'm an action person. So if I'm coming to you, y'all, I'm coming to you with some action items. I'm talking to you about things that have been tried and tested for me. And that's why I like to say, pay attention to how the person, the messenger is moving, because a lot of these people out here talking about things, when you look into their lives and how they're moving, child, it ain't making sense. It ain't lining up. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Because like I said, most of these people, especially these relationship people, they're not married. And they might have situationships, but most of them are not married. Most of them aren't married. And then the very few that are, they've been married for a fraction of the time that I've been married. So just be careful with who your messaging is coming from. Just be careful of that. Thank you, Blessed Up. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for that. Amanda Jane. Hey, Amanda. What you say? You don't build no one up, and you big me up and then put me down and lied on my name. Judge Fifi lies on her name, getting dragged on YouTube streets. Who's next? Well, Amanda, I hope things get better for you out here in these YouTube streets. It's a lot going on. I'm backed up on, I need to check my emails. I'm backed up on emails since I've been traveling. But listen, I would just say for anybody out here, and especially if you're on the internet, you have to do what you need to do to protect your own peace and your own mental health. And sometimes that may be taking a break from certain things or certain topics. But at the end of the day, you and your mental health comes first. So as I said, with my channels and how I do my content and maybe some moving around, and that's just me reacting to just things that are just going on in the space and me wanting to switch up the energy, because what I've noticed, especially as you grow in the field of content creation, YouTube, you sometimes, try to be everything for everybody, and it's just not possible. So you have so many different people and things coming at you, and people having experiences and opinions and things like that. And you just can't react to all of them. You can't react to all of them. So you just do the best you can that's going to be best for you and your mental health. So that's why I tell each of you, like, take care of you first. Take care of you first. And also, we can't control what other people say about us. So we have to also keep that in mind too, because it's almost like a cat or a dog chasing their tail. Like, you can't spend so much energy being concerned about what people are saying to you or saying about you. The best you can do is speak your piece and lay it out on the table. And it's up to the other person, as to what they want to do with it. Because at the end of the day, we can't control people. And as we see, even with Rose and her content, she spends a lot of energy trying to control people, and strike channels and do this and that. And like I use the analogy of a dog or a cat chasing its tail. You just going in the circles. Why? Because we can't control people. You just can't. And I think once we, as just people, get a good understanding of that we can't control people, and the only thing we can do is control ourselves, I just think that it works out just for the betterment for us, and when it comes to our mental health. So everybody, take care of yourselves and one another is just what I like to say. Vicky says, all in the chat, much love to everyone. I got a lot out of this live by everyone sharing their experience, strength, and hope. I got to leave for a previously scheduled appointment. Take care. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for coming through. Vicky, thank you for coming through. Okay, virtuous woman. I see your message. I'll do that. DFIS says, I heard you say higher power. Do you believe in Jesus, Sheik? I've never heard you speak on our Heavenly Father, on faith in general. Oh yeah, on here I'll say higher power, because people got different. I'm a spiritual person. I never consider myself a religious person, but I'm definitely spiritual. So I always say higher power, just as a synonymous for something just bigger than us, for whatever people believe in. So yes, I am a believer of Jesus and things like that. But yeah, I definitely believe in energy, and I believe in just a higher power. And I think vast majority of people do. It's just people have different names for it. But I just think that there is something just bigger than us as human beings, and we have to tap into it, because life be lifing, and it can get so heavy and full to where you need something to intervene, because the person you're talking to, it just ain't cutting it, child. It ain't cutting it. You done told them all your cried out your tears and told him about all your issues, but that person, that man that's standing before you just can't seem to do anything for you. So then you got to turn to a higher power. And, that's when you start getting results. And I always feel like people do that kind of far too late in a situation versus doing it first. I think first and foremost, we should turn to the higher power for guidance, solace, all of that. And I think we sometimes turn to man. We look to man far too often. And, man disappoints us. And then when we're just at our wits end, and that's when we're like, oh yeah, there is you, and then we start, turning to him, and then, stuff start happening. So I have to just remember, to know like, that's, my first source, that's that source, that's who I turn to first. And that's what's gotten me through some challenging times. And since I've kind of been reminded of that, I would say I was really, really reminded of that, earlier this year with just going through things. And it was just my like reminder. I believe sometimes you go through a lot of things because you need to be reminded that there is a higher power, because man is just not cutting it for you. So that was my reminder, earlier this year. So now I just definitely make it a point to first and foremost, um, turn to the higher power, for guidance, solutions, comforting, all of that. And I notice it makes a difference when I do that, when I feel weak in the flesh, just weak, I'll do that. And it's just like, it's amazing how, quickly you'll feel a change in energy when you turn to a higher power for guidance, help, support, comfort, whatever that is. Do it. I say, try it and test it. I always like to encourage everybody to form their own testimonies. It's nothing like a testimony. So I get excited and more connected to the higher power when I hear people's testimonies about, well, let me tell you my story, and it's just like, really, and it has me to really, when I hear the testimonies, to believe like, okay, it is a real thing, because it's not just me, it's other people having their stories and their encounters. And I just get excited, when I hear those testimonies. So, every day I say, as we're living and experiencing things, we're forming our own testimony. So I like to say tried and tested. So anything that you all hear me talk about is tried and tested for me. And all I can do is try to encourage you all to give things that I suggest a try, to test it out, because at the end of the day, that is the only way if something will work for you. You have to give it a try. Give it a try. Create your own testimony. But thank you for your comment, Vegan. Alka Rose says, I enjoyed your encouraging words, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky had some great words. Hello, Pearl. Hello, hello, hello. Queen Johnson says, always be getting that itch, but I sit my tail down because I can't deal with no man with a bunch of kids. Child. Listen, if I was in the day street, listen, these kids, your kids got to be grown or something. I don't know. I can't listen. My kids, wouldn't be able to deal with anybody with kids younger than mine. My kids are 19, 16, and 14. So I hear you. I hear you. Your kids at least need to be in the age realm of mine. I can't do the baby. So listen, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at anybody, man or woman, who's saying no to, the kids, because it's a lot. It's responsibilities. You got to deal, with the other parent. There's a co-parent situation. Child, it's a whole situation. Even before I was married, when I was single, it wasn't my preference to date anyone with children. And listen, the Lord knew, because I never had to turn anyone away who had kids. It's just that, the people I would meet just didn't have kids, but I didn't want to date anyone with kids. So I said, I guess he knew. And it was just crazy because no one had kids. And then everyone would come from, these guys all came from like 2-parent households, and their parents were married forever. And I came from the opposite. So it was almost like I was being positioned to meet people who came from something different than I did with their family, because I knew I wanted something different. I wanted the nuclear family. I wanted to be married first, have children or whatever. So I would date guys who came from those type of environments. It's quite interesting. So I definitely believe that everything happens for a reason. And it was, for me to connect with a man who came from the 2-parent household, who knew what it looked like to navigate through things, to work through things, because he saw it. He saw what I didn't see. I wasn't exposed to. I was mostly raised by a single parent, had a stepfather for maybe like, the first earlier years of my life. And then it was back to, single parent. So his lifestyle was like, it was completely different from mine's. And that's why I also believe that when you are dating, to do not ignore the type of family, the background that that person has come from, get to know what type of parents they have, what type of household they were brought up in, because a lot of times a person's mindset and ideology centered around things, it comes from what they were exposed to, like their parents' thought process, who they were raised by. So don't ignore that. What they say, when you marry them, you marry the family. That is real deal. You marry the family. So y'all don't be saying, I don't care about their family. Don't do that. And especially if you want to have kids, because genetics is real. Genetics is real stuff. Listen, child come out acting real different. And then you learning, that came from this person over here. You didn't even know. Listen, ask questions. Don't just get caught up in just that one person, that you're dating, and you're saying, hey, I don't care about all else they got going on as far as their family and all of that. Don't have that mindset. Just don't have that mindset. When you marry a person, you're marrying into their family. So you want to really understand what you're about to get yourself into, what you're about to sign up for. It will behoove you to do this. Some of y'all date people and y'all see the family is a mess. So listen, imagine, now you're married and this is your family. Like, so do not, I'll repeat, do not ignore the family dynamics of the people who you meet. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Welcome. Don't do it. We got to pay attention to the family dynamics. Queen says, virtuous, I'm not lying. I'll be waiting to have fun sometimes. I'm like, no, it's not worth it. Listen, now it's so much going on in these streets and in the dating streets where you just got to be safe. Like I said, with the STDs, then you see crimes of passion where the man then took the woman out because she didn't want him no more. Now, that's the really scary part for me. I think more so probably than the STD part is just that, where a man who just can't take rejection. And it's just like a mindset of, if I can't have you, no one else can. And you see that all across, I be watching. I don't watch TV much, but when I do watch TV, I may, catch some of those little stories, those little law detective stories about, solving a murder of somebody. And when I was on my cruise, I was listening to one with a woman, and she wanted out of her marriage, and the husband was an ex-cop, and child, he knew how to cover stuff up and everything. Remember, I said he was an ex-cop, so he knew how to do stuff. So he took her out and tried his best to cover it up or whatever, but he ended up getting found guilty. But this was a white couple, but you hear it black, like you hear it in all across, with the different cultural groups where this type of things happen, when somebody, and sometimes a woman, she don't be ready to let go, and she'll take you out. Most of the time it's the man who doing it, but there's been cases where there's women. So I think that's the part that's most scary, for me, when I think about, dating somebody and them not being able to handle rejection. They just can't handle it. Mm-hmm. They just can't handle it. Karen says, hi, blessed up. I'll probably have to catch the replay. Yes, Karen, definitely catch the replay. This has been a really good live. Have y'all hit the like button? I ain't been watching. What my likes looking like, bots? I haven't been watching the likes, but it's normally been about 50 of y'all in here. Please hit the like. Blessed up says, if you can't hold me accountable, you ain't for me. I like that. Yes, I like that. Queen said, Deej, yes, I was wondering why it was so peaceful here. I forgot she got removed, but now I feel comfortable. And you know what, y'all, with this Mamad situation, right before I went on my last trip, I had to deal with that and make some changes. And I learned, during that time that the energy of my chat and my channel was different. Because people felt like it was because of one person. And even though I hadn't taken notice, because I just be busy doing the show. So I don't be like, I can't tell a lot of things that I came to learn because I'm just, listen, the show, I'm working. So that's the point of having your mods. They handle all that. But I didn't damn know it was an issue with a mod. So And then I'm hearing people saying, oh, yeah, I didn't come over because of that person. So it's just very disheartening. And I am a type of person where if multiple people are having an experience with you, a certain type of experience with you, then it's not them, it's you. If multiple people are saying the same things, there's something there. And sometimes, it'd be hard to have to kind of deal with matters like that with someone who you've come to like, but you can't ignore the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a numbers thing, to where it's just like, okay, you got one, but then you got all these people over here who have this sentiment about this. So in order to eliminate distractions, I just had to remove the change out, with the moderator thing. I didn't do a block. I just remove the moderator, because I did want to give her a chance to come over and to, speak up for herself or whatever. So that's why, I didn't do a block. I did see her come through and, and say some things, which is fine. So I'm definitely glad you all are here. And if you all feel a change in energy and feel good, listen, feel good about life. That's what it's about. I don't want any distractions over here. This is a lighthearted space. So listen, the people have spoken. So I had to go with that. Blessed Up says, amen, Sheik. That's why I continue to dress up for me. So if I ever choose to remarry, it won't be a battle to restart taking care of my appearance. I always say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Those are the words of the late Nipsey Hussle. So that's what it's about. Just staying ready, keeping yourself up. You never know when you're going to find or run into your person. So that's what I say. Do a self-check. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself, would I date me? Would I date me? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, do you like yourself? Like, ask yourself these questions, because, child, if you don't like yourself, how the hell you expect me to like you? How you expect him to like you if you annoy your own self? If you're looking in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I look a mess, I wouldn't date me. Then, spruce it up, make a change. Just tweak it a little bit. When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Bless up, no. When you know, y'all, this is how I live my life. Why Swizzle? Hello, welcome. How you doing? How's it going out there in Hawaii? Hey, B-Day, how you doing? How are you? Karen says, I'm not sure exactly what the whole conversation was about, but I was always told to watch how a man treats his mother and family, and that's how he would treat you. Karen, that is a great point. Child, my husband loves his mama. His mom lives with us even part-time. She's here, and then another part, she's in Louisiana where she lives. But that woman, when I say she mind her business and stay in her own lane, child, I got more energy for her than my own mama. Listen, my own mama kind of good. So listen, child, I ain't trying to. my mother-in-law, she real chill. So, but my husband, like, he really loves on his mom, takes care of her. And, what has me to not feel away with, how he shows up for his mom is that I got sons that are one day going to be that way with me, as they're grown men and having their wives and their families. And I don't want their wives to feel a certain way about me because how they may show up for me. So that's how I look at it. I don't have them to feel some type of way or have it to be a competition on who gets more attention than not, because I got two boys. And because I'm a mom boy, I'm a mother to boys and a daughter. I'm very aware of, okay, what a man's experience is with a woman and a woman's experience with a man's, because I'm raising both. So I'm very neutral. I know, okay, I got boys. So one day, the girlfriends or the wives or whatever are going to have to get to know me and may form an opinion about me and take notice of how the boys are showing up for me whenever, for whatever reason. And they're going to pay attention to how my sons treat me. And, in the way it should be is for them to see that that's a positive way and to feel like, yeah, I got a good one, because look how they show up for their mom. My husband shows up for his mom. So it's definitely a real thing. Pay attention to how a man shows up for his mother, the quality of the relationship. Is it toxic? how he speaks to her. Like all of those things are very real. As I say, y'all don't get caught up in only paying attention to how the person you're dating moves. Pay attention to the people around them in their circle, their family, how they're moving too, how that person you're dating interacts with them. Because once you join this family and you marry into this family, you're going to be a part of that situation. So if it's always drama and toxicity and they add it, guess what? You finna be in the mix too. You're going to be in the mix too. So you can't ignore those things. Just, just know what you're signing up for and make sure that this person is worth you signing up for that. Because you may be like, yeah, his family crazy, but I love him. Or you might be like, shit, I don't love him that much. They got too much going on. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And for me, I'm not a person that likes a lot of drama, as y'all see when it comes to how I move on this internet. I run from drama, toxicity. So I'm going to kind of bob and weave and make adjustments to make myself feel comfortable because I don't like conflict. So if I were to date a man and I see things like that popping off within his family dynamics, I will bow out gracefully because I'd understand that, hey, this is just what goes down over here. And if I stick around with this family, this is just what I'm going to be a part of. And that's just not what I want to sign up for. So remember, y'all don't just get caught up in he got good D, he looked good, he got a lot of money. Pay attention to just everything. Just pay attention to everything. That it will behoove you to pay attention to everything. And don't be saying I do. And then you see all this stuff popping off and you acting like you didn't even know what's going down like that in this family until the wedding day when you already knew his mama was crazy. You knew his sister was off her rockers. But because it was on and popping on wedding day, now you want to be in your emotions about it. You knew these people weren't right. You knew they were not right. So listen, you just setting yourself up. Don't be Delulu out here, as my daughter like to call it, Delulu. Do not be Delulu out here, y'all. Read the room. Read the room. X said such great advice today, Sheik. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Queen Jocelyn says, nothing wrong with mods. Just don't mean you have to bully people. Your other mods are great, nice, and respectful. Thank you for that feedback. I like my mods. So we got a good thing going on. Thank you, Virtuous. She says, please subscribe to my backup channel. Yes, I need you all. Definitely, if you're on here, if you haven't, please subscribe to my backup channel. Definitely, I want you to subscribe to my backup channel. I'm close to having that monetized. I just got to hit my mark for my subscriber count, 1,000. Got my watch out, child. So I need y'all just to go and subscribe to it. And then therefore all the content, the things that we put out over there, child, I'll be able to financially benefit from the works, the fruits of my labor, child. So make sure you all subscribe over there as well, because I've been jumping around, toggling between my two channels. B-Day says, married 23 years, ups and downs, ins and out. I've been in the bushes, coming back into the fold after my third stroke. God is so good, making changes to better health. That's good. Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Queen Johnson says, my mother-in-law is what ended my first marriage. She wouldn't stay in her lane. She wanted to run my house, and she even told her son, neither me or her. So I chose for him. Yep, it'd be like that. My mom's marriage, remember I had a stepfather when I was younger and her marriage ended. I was just telling a friend today, her marriage ended because of family, his family, his sister, actually, not really his mother, it's his sister. But I always remembered that. So I told myself I wasn't going to allow for something like that to happen. I wasn't going to be in a marriage where I felt like I was just at odds with someone within their family. I will walk first. And there was a point really early in my marriage. I would probably within probably like the first 2 years, two years of my marriage, where I felt like that was what I was going to do, because just the energy I was getting from my sister-in-law, it just, child, I laid it out. I guess I scared him, because next thing you know, he called his mama and I guess told her what I was, going to do. His mama came running and basically called an intervention, got me and her daughter together and had her daughter apologize for her shenanigans. And we've pretty much been on a good foot since then. But the moral of that story is that my husband took it serious of what I wasn't going to be willing to do as far as we deal with just negative energy from members of his family, because he believed me when I said that I would just pack me and my baby up, and we would just, but listen, child, he know when I get to talking, I don't just be talking just to talk. So he reacted, told his mama, and they was like, oh, hell no. So they went ahead and fixed that, nipped that in the bud, y'all. And that was what, like almost 20 years ago. So it makes a difference when in the marriage for ladies, and you have your husband and there's some issues going on that side, for you to have a husband to stand up for you, because when they get married, you become first and foremost, not the mother, not sister, like you're the main person in their lives. Then next comes the children. And unfortunately, in some unions, the man don't understand that messaging, and they don't know what it is to put the wife first. And when that happens, the marriage dissolves, the wife moves around and go do something else, which I feel like that's what she should. And I think anyone in a situation that where it's not serving them and it's impacting their mental health, their freedom, their livelihood, law getting all involved, you got to move around and protect yourself, protect your babies. You got to do what you need to do. So that's why I say, you all get to know the family members of these people that you are in relationships with before you say I do, so you know what you're signing up for, and if it's going to be something that you're going to be willing to deal with. So if you're able to do that, you can't meet everybody, but definitely meet siblings and meet parents before you marry. Definitely, definitely, definitely. That is highly recommended by me. Queen says, my mother-in-law now is so sweet and lets us raise our kids how we want. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you got one of those. Listen, my mother-in-law energy be like, them y'all kids. Her energy be like, listen, them y'all kids. She stay in her lane. My mom, on the hand, I got to remind her they my kids. You see how that go? You see how that works? I got to remind her they my kids. Mother-in-law will gladly remind, them your kids. So, it makes a difference when you have people in your life who understands boundaries. I call it boundaries. I'm really, really big on boundaries. Some people do not understand or know how to respect boundaries. And when people cannot respect your boundaries, you let them know. Sometimes you may let them know multiple times, but if it gets to the point where they still not respecting your boundaries, regardless of who they are, parents, siblings, whoever they are, you have to let them know. Then you can't fool. You can't deal with them. Well, they say you got to teach people how to treat you. You got to show them. Listen, I can show you better than I can tell you. You're not respecting my boundaries. And as I get older, I value my boundaries so much, because I understand that when you don't require for people to respect your boundaries, they'll keep pushing. And then when you pop off and you let loose, then they think you're crazy. And it's just like, I done told you. I done told you folks 10, 11 times, but you wasn't listening. Y'all know how I be. Folks will start listening to you, start cutting up, acting crazy. Then they want to make it seem like you done lost your mind. It's just like, well, I've been trying to nicely tell you. And so I don't like when people have you to go there, because you shouldn't have to get on 10 just to kind of get your message across to another adult. It's like, if I told you, hey, this is what it is, take that. I shouldn't have to tell you multiple times and then amp up the energy. And now I'm looking like the bad person, or looking like I'm not respectful enough. But I've been trying to be respectful and to be calm, and you just, damn, hear the hell I had to say. So boundaries, y'all. Listen, make sure people are out here respecting your boundaries. I want your boundaries to be respected. Blessed Up said that Jocelyn, is sad but true that some mothers be so jealous when their sons choose who they want to marry. Got to look out for the signs. Very true, very true. And that's something I don't ever want to be when it comes to my sons. That's why I take into an account, hey, my husband is someone's son, and how my mother-in-law has been when it has come to him and me. I'm like, I want to be that way, with my sons, with whoever, they choose to marry and be with. I don't want to be viewed as an obstacle, or viewed as though I'm trying to compete, or I feel like no one's good for my sons. That's not the energy I want to come off. I want to be someone who understands their role, boundaries and things like that. When your children become adults, who they choose to be with is their decision. Now, if they come to you and they're wanting to talk to you and confide in things, you can, share, and talk to them. but you still have to understand, the boundaries of, okay, having a conversation with your son or whoever, and then whatever decision they make, and if they choose to still go and be a part of that relationship, you still have to respect that, meaning not disrespect that person. As long as your child is still with that person, then okay, you need to still be respecting that person, as long as they're still respecting you. So again, the moral of the story is boundaries. Not enough people move with move respectfully and honor boundaries. And I think that's the root of a lot of problems in relationships when you're dealing with like family members or in-laws and things like that. People not standing in a lane, people overstepping, giving unsolicited opinions, comments, things like that. And that's why, as when you're married as a couple, you have to understand or know what it is to keep certain things between you all, and to not everything be known outside of the union. Because what happens is that when you go sharing everything that takes place within your marriage, and say you go tell, I something happens in my marriage and I go tell my mom, and then she has her opinions about it, and then I'm mad at the time as I'm talking to her, but then me and my husband, we make up, and now I'm no longer mad. Well, my mom hasn't forgot what I told her, so she's still going to be feeling a certain type of way. And you see how that works, because a lot of times we're going to forgive our partners far faster than the people who we go tell, like our family and friends. They're going to forgive them. A lot of times they ain't going to forgive them. They just going to talk ish about them. And then now at this point, you pissed off and mad. Well, why you keep talking ish about my woman or my man? It was like, well, hell, you came to me talking ish about them. So just because you all good with them again, don't mean that I've forgotten how they dogged you out. So that's why, if you know that this is how y'all relationship is, where it's just toxic like that, and y'all go back and forth, don't go telling folks y'all business and telling them what that man or that woman done, when you know it's likely that you're going to forgive them. Just don't be a Cardi B out here, because y'all know Cardi will run to this internet, tell you what they Offset did, cuss him out, say he ain't everything, call him everything but the child of God. 5 days later, she booed up with him. People still pissed off at him in her comments, talking ish about him. Now she ready. She going to slap off. She cussing y'all out now. Y'all know how it go. And it's like, wait a damn minute. We cussing him out in your honor because you came to us crying and boo-hooing because he did this. But now, since he didn't, you done damn kissed and made up with him, now you want us to just be all good with him and forget what you told us that he did to you. You want us to forget all that, and then we be all good with him. That's not how it works. So don't be going around telling everything. Some things you keep to yourself. Cardi, I don't know when she gonna learn now, y'all, because she stay telling everybody everything, and it just don't ever seem to work out for her. Because 9 times out of 10, she get back with him, and guess who getting cussed out? You are, not him. You are, because you're not respecting her marriage. You're not respecting her marriage. So now she done forgot all that he done, and now she on your ass because of all that you've been saying in these comments. So now she on you harder than she was on him. Y'all ever see that? Sometimes a person to be on you harder than that person who did them wrong. They harder on the other person. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Mind your business. Just mind your business. Virtuous says, if you're coming in or out, please share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you, Virtuous. Thank you for that. Queen Jocelyn said, bless up. Yes, would like to sit in the bathroom while he showered. I'm like, oh, heck no, this sick and weird. And he's 36 living with his mom. Listen, Jocelyn, you paying attention to the signs. You got to pay attention to the signs. Thank you, B-Day. You got to pay attention to them signs because they be there. Bless up. Jocelyn says, oh, baby, I would have left that sickness right there when I seen that. Ain't no coming back from that. I'm big on walking away when things ain't right. That's the way to be, because that's how you protect yourself. And remember, this discernment, when you know, when you tapped in. When stuff ain't feeling right, y'all ladies, we got the intuition. If it's not feeling right, if it is not feeling right, move around, get out of it, because so many people stay in situations, bad situations for far too long, and it goes left, and it's just like, damn, if only they got out sooner, or when this happened, versus going back, because so many ladies go back and they keep going back, and some of them don't ever walk away from them because they ain't here with us anymore. And that's just not the outcome you want. But unfortunately, that's the outcome for many women, because they did not leave. Less upset. If I didn't sign up for it and got tricked into something that wasn't presented before dating, I'm out fast. Some things aren't worth asking a person to change from. Leave them where you found them. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, if a person's not giving what you want them to be given when you meet them, don't be trying to stick around and be trying to, get them to change. People are who they are. So, like, I remember years ago, my mother-in-law said the way a person is when you're dating, when you get married, it's just going to magnify. So if you didn't like it when y'all was dating, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till y'all get married. So that always stuck with me when she made that comment, because, and she's right, like, people don't change like that. People are going to change when and if they want to change. It's not going to have anything to do with you, a person, saying you need to change. That's not how it works. So you get with people based on what they're giving in that moment. And whatever they're giving, you're like, okay, I can rock with this. Don't be like, okay, I don't like all this, but I'm going to marry them and hopefully it gets better. No, that ain't how it works. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. And then here's the thing. Those people who come to learn that that's how you marry them with that mindset, they come to resent you, because they're like, why did you put that expectation on me? I never even set that expectation with you that I was even capable of being even that way. So for you to say, I'm gonna marry you in hopes that I become a way that I ain't never even presented to you, that's asinine. Where are you getting this from? So now you're looking for me to live up to this expectation that you formed in your head that I ain't never gave you, but you're looking for me to live up to this expectation because we married, but I ain't never set that expectation with you. Don't do that. It's not fair. I personally don't feel like it's fair to the other person, because you didn't even give them the chance to be like, okay, you want me to be this way? No, I'm not going to be that way. And for them to choose to still be with you, or you guys, choose to go your separate way, but you can't hook up with somebody with this idea of changing them. You meet people where they are, because it just don't work out when you hook up with people with this idea of changing them, because I promise you, they ain't finna change for you. And later down the line in life, if they do change, it wasn't for you, it's because they wanted to. And by this point, they probably in a whole nother relationship. You like, mother, why they couldn't be like that with me? You see, people gonna do what they want to do. You can't, what they say, you can't control grown folks. You cannot control grown folks. Fairbanks says one of their many fights, Brett stated, never respected Rose. Question: why would a man wife up and reproduce with a woman he doesn't respect? I personally feel like Brett did it out of he needed some place to live, out of survival. Because more often than not, a man doesn't do that. But I feel like, she talked about when she found him, he was sleeping on the floor somewhere. He didn't really have a lot going on. Like, she made it sound like she had more going on than he did. I feel like he was moved by the resources, her drive that she had, the hustle that she had in her to get to the money, to get to things. And she was just kind of everything like that he wasn't. And I think that he was fascinated by just that hustle that she had in her. And to me, that, in what I'm saying, that's not even a masculine characteristic for a man to hook up with a woman from, with those reasons. But this goes to show this was never really a man that moved in his masculinity. He didn't move in his masculinity, because a man moving in his masculinity wouldn't have even wifed up someone like her. So here we are, fast forward however many years they've been together, or been married, 3+ years, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So again, this is definitely another example of when the signs were very much, there. They said, bless up, be aware of the signs. When the signs are there, pay attention to the signs. They be there, because if we choose to ignore them, it can be bad. It can be bad. And they both, to me, I feel like, chose to ignore signs in one another that showed that they weren't a match made in heaven. And here we are today. And unfortunately, we have 2 additional children that was born into the toxicity. And word on the curb is that, they're talking about having another one. And, it's just a crazy thought to me. So I'm just like, listen, if it's meant for them to have whatever it is for them to have, it will happen. That's all you can go by. If it's meant for them to have whatever it is that they want to have, it will happen. If it don't happen, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. They said, my daughter in love has a clear understanding of border and lines. We both love the same way, just differently. Well, that's good to know. Sounds like a healthy, um, um, it sounds like a healthy situation, B. They sound like a healthy situation. Aqua Rose says Fairbanks, he must have a background himself. There is no telling what dysfunctions he might have in his own family. Prune shared all her family drama, but not Blue. Yeah, I mean, that's what I say. I think with him, his self-esteem, there's been some there's some questionable things about his self-esteem. And like I believe a lot of things or most things are rooted back to childhood. So I believe that there's something that he gets out of the relationship from Rose that he feel like he was lacking just in his relationship, just growing up and other relationships. And it's just they just got a lot of toxic things going on over there. So they are definitely the epitome of what not to do, which is why we talk about them over here, because there's so much. I like to say, Rose is a case study. There's a lot to learn from her. A lot. Pearl said, my mother-in-law and I started off rough, and it took us both some years to see the common denominators, which has none other than her son. Crazy, but we got him in his place. Listen, sometimes it be that way. Peter said, I stay in my lane because I love them both. Yeah, boundaries. You stay in your lane. And I'm sure they love and respect that about you. You stay in your lane. Queen Johnson says, bless up. It took me a while to get up and go. We had kids. I didn't want them to come from a broken home, but I realized it was already broken because I was no longer emotionally attached. Yeah. People got a lot of reasons why they choose to stay, and a lot of it has to do with children. But what they don't know is that the children already know that stuff is just messed up and they're being negatively impacted in the situation. And I've heard adults talk about, as children, how they would have wished, rather their parents went their separate ways opposed to staying together, and, them experiencing all of the things that came along with being in a dysfunctional household. So it's just kind of how we perceive and view things. So that's why I always say it's definitely harder to leave than to stay, because to leave, it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to leave, and that's why a lot of people don't. They just stay. They said, I have my grandbabies and I love them so much. Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet. Bless Up says, Jocelyn, I get it, love, but I will leave pregnant or not, children together or not. A lot of women stay for that matter, but they also gather strength to leave. We all deserve better. Yes, yes, yes. It makes a difference when you got people in your life who can kind of be a support to you when you're going through things. Many people don't have supports. They don't have people to talk to. They feel like they're alone. So it's so many reasons why people just stay and endure things. So I always encourage people, and I like to listen to people's story and to try not to pass judgment, but just to listen to their story and try to understand the why behind they've done many of the things that they've done. Because, everybody has a story. So I think it's good to stop and be open to listening to the next person's story, because we all have something that we can learn from when we talk to one another. We all have different experiences. And that's why they say like anyone can really have a YouTube channel, because we all have life experiences and things that we've encountered. And it's really just about coming out here and sharing it. And so, are you brave enough to come out and share your story? Because there's always someone who really could benefit from hearing your story. Queen Jocelyn says, yes, Sheik, I went back so many times after DV, but after he tried to run me over, I knew one day he would kill me. Shake my head. Dang, Sheik, I didn't want to go into this. You pulling it out, you speaking to me. Thank you for sharing. And I'm glad, that you got out. I'm glad you were one of the lucky ones to get out. Everybody's not so lucky. So that's why, here's the thing. I think it's important to share our stories, because you never know who may need to hear it, who someone may be motivated to leave a certain situation by hearing, your story or whoever's story. So just always keep that in mind, when we think about like certain things we've gone through, and trying to keep it to our heart And it may be painful sometimes to talk about and acknowledge, but keep in mind that it can also help someone else. And communicating and talking can be healing too. Because I feel like a lot of people go through life keeping things in, uh, for whatever reason, but a lot of people keep things because they feel like, what's the point of talking about it? It hurts, or nobody want to hear this, or everybody got their own problems. It's all kinds of reasons. But I do think that there is healing when you talk about the things that you endured, and it's healing for you because you're getting it out. But also, it can be helpful to someone else who may be going through something similar, and they may be feeling alone, like there's no one that they can talk to who can understand or relate. And that's really where my motivation come from with coming out here and talking on YouTube and sharing a lot of things, personal things, and just talking and asking questions in general, because I understand now, as I get older, that the things that I went through in life that I questioned, like, why, I came to understand that some of the things that I went through, it was about me going through it. So therefore I can help somebody else, who is going to also end up going through it. And it's like, oh, I remember, I described, what I was feeling at, around 30 or 7 year mark in my marriage and wanting to leave. And then I would say maybe about 4 years, 3, 4 years down the line, I made a good friend at a job. And she was going through the same thing. And I was able to talk her through it, provide counsel for her and her husband at the time. I was in school, still working on my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. But she was able to convince her husband to allow for me to talk with both of them, because I would always talk with her. But she convinced her husband to allow for me to talk with both of them together. So therefore I can kind of be a person to kind of hear both sides and to provide an input. And this friend, she managed to work through her marriage, and she's been married longer than me. But I do know that I heavily played a part in that, because I was able to remember, I talked about one of the Maori's twins. I think it was Tamara, who walked from her marriage and was going through all these changes, emotions, and how it's important to have people in your life who you can run these ideas by, who can tell you like, girl, I don't know if that's what you want. Like those, it's important. So when I came, I met this friend, I was kind of that person in her life that can say, hey, I know that feeling, but guess what? That feeling is going to go away. It's temporary. Trust me, sis, and she's my Peruvian friend. She ain't, but she's Peruvian. Trust me. And, she trusted me, but, she still, continued for a little while, was struggling through emotions of feeling like, oh, she wanted more. She wanted to try something else. At that point, she'd probably been married for maybe like, um, 15 years, 13, 15 years or something like that. And I had to just, she just had to trust me on it. And, they're still married today. They probably been married for close to about 25 years, 24 years. But it took for her to talk to someone who can relate to what she was feeling, what she was going through. So to me, I felt like that was my why as to why I went through what I went through, is because the Lord, like he knew that I was going to encounter someone else who was going to be feeling the same way. And that person was going to need someone to help them. And that ended up being me. So I'm always looking for a reason. So for me, that was my reason why I went through what I went through. It was for her. I'm like, you mean to tell me I went through all this for her? I went through this for her. But I felt good and feeling like I had the answer as to why I went through what I went through. It's like, because, 3, 4 years later, I was going to meet someone who would need to hear what I had to say. And, it made a difference. So, that's a win. It's a positive story for me. But that's how I say sometimes we go through things and it's really not about you. It's not about you. It's about something that's to come, but you're going through it. And it hurts or whatever. But sometimes you got to go through it because you got to get in this position to be set up to help, down the line. You don't see that yet because we can't see the future. But when that time comes, excuse me, you can reflect back and be like, oh, that's why I went through that. Because I went through that, I'm positioned to be able to help out over here with this. I get it. I get it. So listen, we live and we learn. We live and we learn. So I'm always looking for moments where I can identify lessons learned and the whys behind why certain things take place. I'm a why, but why? But why? I always say smart people ask questions. Don't ever have someone make you feel bad because you ask them questions. That's what smart people do. We ask questions. We seek answers. We want to learn. We want to know. And guess what? Because we do this, it has us to not become repeat offenders. So, which means we end up having better quality lives because we out here learning. That's why we the honor students. We out here learning. And that's what it's about. Life is just about learning. As long as we have breath in our lungs, we should be learning. It's about learning regardless of how old you are. So don't feel bad. Oh, I messed up. I made a stupid mistake. Okay, well, damn, did you learn from the fact that hell you already know it was dumb? That lets me know, okay, well, hell, you didn't learn something because you know it wasn't smart. So we're going to start there. I'm going to give you credit for that I did not have to tell you it was dumb. You led by saying it was dumb. So that lets me know that we getting some progress. We getting some progress because the first step is what acknowledgement. So we got the acknowledgement out the way. I'm going to give you credit for that and recognize you, sis or bruh, for that, for acknowledging. We're going to start there. So listen, don't be so hard on yourself. Do not be so hard on yourself. Pearl says, yes, it took some time for her to realize it, but I knew it all along. So we just out here learning. We out here learning. Each one teach one. Queen Johnson says, yep, I ignored it so many times. I was 6 months pregnant when he gave me a black eye, then promised to never do it again. Of course, the promises come. I don't watch enough stories, Lifetime stories, 48-hour stories, enough stories to know that a promise to not do it again. That's just, you ever hear like certain stories when you're dealing with trauma, abuse, DV. It's like certain things that's like a part of every story, and the person was like, well, he did it this time, but he promised he'd never do it again. And it's just classic things that you hear. And so a lot of things that I talk about as far as with, the abuse and signs of leave is because I'm paying attention to, just as I listen to people's stories over the years, things that are common in people's stories. And the never do it again is a common one that I hear. Or, I love you, or, you made me do it, or, just certain things like these trigger things, that I listen out for. And that's why I say we got to get out early when we're able to, and if you didn't, definitely encourage the next person to do so. You have your testimony, don't sit in it, share it with somebody because someone can use it, because every day, I don't know what the stats are right now in real time, but I just know, child, it's probably somebody, I done been on this live 2 hours and 41 minutes. Plenty of people then got hands and feet put on them since I've been on this live. Like based off of how the stats are, plenty of people have gotten hands and feet put on them. So share your story. Don't feel bad. Don't feel embarrassed. Lead with the wanting to share your story for the hopes of helping the next person. Because think about if you had someone in your life years ago that was sharing their story, how it may have impacted you if you heard someone before you tell their story. Would you have maybe even encountered what you encountered? So a lot of times, things happen. We got to think about, well, damn, if I had somebody like me in my life, maybe it would have helped. So think about it from that standpoint of, you, if only you could have been your own savior. Think about that. Again, a lot of things is just how we view them. It's how we view them, so don't make it so much about you, make it about help, a next person and helping somebody. Because a lot of times that's what it's about. You enduring something for the purpose of saving somebody that you don't even know yet, because it's going to happen down the line. But when it happens, you'll think like, wow, I was placed here to be a savior to this person. But you don't know, but that's where our life experiences. And even though, so I went to school for counseling, because I wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to be a family therapist, have my own private practice and all of that, be saving lives, marriages, families, keep the nuclear family together. And I ended up not doing that as far as with opening up a practice and doing it all that way. But, when I think about just my life experiences, even my education, I feel like it was still meant for me to do everything that I did to wind me up here, to be able to talk about the things that I talk about and talk to you about the things I talk about and to talk to people whom I encounter every day in life. So I don't look at it as it was a waste of time. I just look at it as I thought it was for the purpose of me sitting in an office and having people sit on my couch, but that's not what it was for. What me going through the journey was for me to land right here and to just talk to thousands of people around the world, to be able to talk to strangers who I encounter about whatever it is that they're going through. So you see, it was still about me helping, but just not in the capacity or in the physical environment like I thought. But I'm still doing it. I'm just doing it in a capacity to where how many years ago it was? 7, 8 years ago, I'm, in a capacity that I didn't even think. I wasn't even on YouTube like that. I didn't even think about, helping people in this type of environment on this platform. I thought about helping people in a building, like a physical building, not virtually on the internet. I didn't think about reaching people that way. I reach far more people this way than I would if I set up shop and had an office that people had to book appointments to come in. But I didn't know that. So don't discount the things that you've experienced or endured, because it just positions you to be where you are today. Just positions you to be where you are today. Karen says 2 things my older sister used to tell me was that you can't fix what was already broken when you got it, and that a leopard doesn't change its spots, only camouflage them. I agree. That was a great message. And I think people get fixated on trying to change people and things like that, because it's like naturally we want the best out of the loved ones. And if sometimes you ever meet people where you feel like you got more faith in them or see greatness in them than they see for themselves. Like you'd be like, damn, if you can only see yourself from the lens of minds or other people, but you got some people to where they can't see the greatness in themselves. So we see it, and we're trying so hard to get them to see what it is that we see or what the rest of the world see. And it just don't work out. It doesn't work out that way. And that's when we kind of get into that with trying to change people, is because we see the potential that they have, but they don't see it in themselves, and they don't desire to even want to see it or to want to strive for that. So it's like we want more. We want more out of them than they want for themselves, and it can't be that way. If you're in a relationship and you want more out of that person than they want for themselves, then it's time to move around. It's time to go, because I can't want more for you than you want for yourself. I can inspire you and you can be motivated by the things that I say, and I can speak life onto you. I can speak life into you, but you have to be motivated to want to do the work, because I can't do the work for you. And so many people will try to stay in relationship trying to do the work for another person. And that's not how it works. It's not a thing. It's really not a thing. So, but people just do it. And I think they generally do it out of love, because they just love the person. And it's just like, I know he's good. I know he can do this. I just don't want to give up. So I think it's rooted in a good place, but at the end of the day, it's never good, because it impacts your mental health. And then the other person becomes kind of annoyed because they feel like you're changing them. And they're like, listen, I'm not ready to be this person you're wanting me to be. That's just not me. And they have every right to tell you that. And you have every right to move around and choose to do something different if you all aren't equally yoked. So you have to acknowledge when you're not equally yoked with somebody. You have to acknowledge when that ship is sailed. Sometimes people are in your life for a season. You have to acknowledge all of that. And it's okay. It's okay to, what they say, let go and let God. It's okay to let go. And it hurts, but it's okay. Letting go means it's time to turn the chapter and do something better, do something different. And more often than not, it's a good thing. In the beginning, it hurts. It feels painful. But once you do it, you're like, man, I should have done this a long time ago. Because more often than not, when we finally rip the Band-Aid off and we do what we're supposed to do, we're sitting thinking like, wow, like I really could have done that like a while ago. Like, why am I just now doing this now? But it be like that. It be like that. It be like that. Listen, it is what it is. So don't be too hard on yourself. We all go through it, including myself. You know, we all go through it where there's things that we've done longer than we really feel like we should have. And it's just like, well, oh well, at least I finally learned, I finally learned and I'm moving around and I'm doing something different. I'm in a I'm in a better space. So that's what it's about. That is what it's about. Hey, abundant soul, you said that's what it's all about. I love that for you. God has brought me through a lot as well, but let's not get into that. Listen, we got breath in our lungs. He has brought us through a lot. He has brought us through a lot. And that's why you got to keep going. You got to keep going. Um, be motivated. What motivates you? What motivates you? Many people lack motivation. So you need to get remotivated. Figure out what it is that moves you, what makes you smile, what, makes your heart feel good. Figure that out and just get into doing more of that. Whatever that is, just find healthy vices to partake in. And just keep going. Just keep going and knowing that you're not the only one going through anything that you may be going through. There's always someone else who's going through it. But a lot of times it feel like, we the only ones going through and we going through it by ourselves, but that's never the situation. You're just not aware of someone else who's going through it, but you become aware of it when you start talking and communicating. So if you are going through things, talk about it with people, put it out there. Don't keep it in yourself, even if there's loved ones who you think you're concerned about, maybe what they may think about you. Put that to the side and talk to them, because a lot of times they may tell you like, oh, I felt like something was wrong, but I didn't want to overstep. I wanted you to come to me. So it's unfortunate a lot of times when we'll hear about a bad outcome with someone and family talk about how they didn't know something was going on, or they may have felt something was off, but they didn't want to overstep. Basically, it was just poor communication. There was just that person didn't communicate that they were going through it. The other person who was picking up some signs that something wasn't right was not saying anything. They was like, well, let me just mind my own business and stay in my lane. And, people choosing to just mind their own business and stay in their lane. Sometimes it's not always a good thing. You have to have discernment on knowing, okay, when it's appropriate to kind of step in. And that's, more so when it's a life or death matter. Then that's when you have to kind of, say something, even if it's one time and the person didn't receive well, you taking notice of, what's going on. At least now, as they're going through whatever they're going through, they know that you noticed. So they may circle back around to you and one day say, yeah, all right. And, and pick back up on that conversation and finally admit, yeah, this has been going on. So just kind of drop a seed just to let somebody know, listen, I see you. I'm here. I just want you to know I see you and I'm here. Leave it at that. Sometimes people just need to know that you're here for them. Simple as that. Simple as that. A lot of people feeling like they going through all this. They going through life by themselves. Hey, Serena. Thank you for being here. Have you all hit the like button? I thank each and every one of you for being here. And B-Day says, abundant, me too. I learned how to move differently. Yep. Blessed Stuff says, abundant soul, be amen, love. That's a lot. That's what life is about. Yep. It's, we live and we learn. We live. Amen. Thank you for that. Blessed up. We live and we learn, we got to take care of one another. And we got to let one another know that we're here for them, even when during dark times, and even when the person not, on the ups, and not, making all the money maybe like they used to. You want to let them know that still, even though they can't, their lifestyle isn't what it used to, that you're still there for them regardless. Because some people think that if they don't have something to give, that they're no longer important, because, they felt like their relationships were centered around them doing for you, giving, uh, buying you things. And so when they're no longer able to do that, they feel like, well, they have no value to you. So you have to let people know that the value was never centered around all of that. You got to let them know, find a way to try to let them know that it was never about that. Even though they may think it was about that, it never was about that. And a lot of times people think that their value is stemmed from the physical and material things because of how people have made them feel. And it's unfortunate. And some people may view your value as that. But for those of you out there who don't view people's value that way, you let those people know that that's not how you view them. You just let them know, hey, I want you to know I don't view you, as a walking ATM. I'm curious, I'm concerned. I want to know how you doing, what's going on. Talk to me. I see you trying to be everything to everyone, everybody. What's going on with you? You good? You need somebody to talk to, because sometimes we get so busy and we show up for other people all the time, that we feel like we don't have nobody showing up for us. Like, how many of you felt that way? Where you feel like you're everything to everybody, everyone, and then you showing up for people and you don't get that same energy in return. Or when you be like, well, whenever I'm in need, it ain't nobody around, everybody busy. But when people need something, they come calling me. It's not a good feeling to feel like you're used or you're only good for people when they're in need. So you all just kind of think about the relationships you have in your life. Are you showing up for them, in return, as you know that they've shown up for you? Are you doing check-ins with your loved ones, checking in? Hey, you good? How you doing over there? I don't need nothing. I just want to say hi. Little things like that. It's the little things, I like to say. It's the little things. Um, it's the little things. And Chosen One says, show up for yourself. I always say you got to show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. Abundant Soul says your value is in the thing. It is in the things money can't buy. Exactly, exactly, exactly. And a lot of people don't know that. They think their value is, like, I feel like P. Diddy thinks his value is in resources and money. I don't think that he's someone who thinks that he's loved and people care about him. I think that he feels like people are only around him, um, because of what he can do for them. And I think that he got used to that, to where he just went with, like, oh well, as long as someone around, and the reason as to why they're around, it just no longer mattered to him anymore, because it's like, well, at least I got somebody around. I don't care if they're only around because out of fear. They think they're going to be on the soup line, they gonna have a job. They think, somebody going to hurt them. Like, he didn't care. It's just like, long as I have the people around. You have some people like that, to where they don't care why you're around, long as you're around. Long as you're around. But people don't want to know that people are only around because of what you can do for them. But you got some people who will settle for that. And I feel like he was someone who settled for that. And I think it started from just him being a child, and everybody, being busy, and him not being seen, just like with Rose, where it's just like everybody's busy doing their own thing. So you're like, okay, well, nobody cares about me. So then you build up this habit of just being extra and doing the absolute most in order to get attention, or now you got money and resources, so you throw that out there, and then again, another way to get attention. And then that's what gets the people coming. And next thing you know, this is now your lifestyle, with how you get people to come to you through your things. Because early on you came to know that it wasn't about you. That wasn't enough. So you had this messaging of, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. So I got to do other extra things. I got to overcompensate in these other areas in order to get the attention, the likability, the appeal from people. And next, it becomes a lifestyle. And this is just how your life is. And you just be good with it. It's almost like you're good, but you're not. You become okay with it. Deep down, you're still bothered by it, and you're angry about it. So these are angry people. They're not happy. They're cold-hearted people, because they know people are only around for certain reasons, but they don't understand or know how to change that. They don't know how to change that. So they just be like, oh, well, it is what it is. If this is how they're going to be around, it is what it is. because they don't want to kind of do the work to focus on kind of fixing that. Nobody wants to do the work. Everybody wants the results, but nobody want to put the work in, right? Chosen one says exactly. The wellness checks on our loved ones is priceless. B, they said Cactus isn't like anyone that I've ever experienced. No, she's not. Like I said, I call her a case study. She's definitely an entire case study. There's just a lot of parts to her. Child, a lot of term papers can be written on her. She's a case study, very interesting. And I think that's why she has a lot of eyes on her, because she's in a way like something no one never seen. That's why, so it's just so crazy, because on this channel, she is heavily focused on my content here as far as what brings the attention and people wanting to talk about her. And then on my other channel, it's Diddy. And both of them have things that they have in common. They have these similarities, where it's this see me type energy, and this toxic display of energy, and hope, just to have people come around them, come to them. And so they have these similarities, and each of them are on my channel. So it's just like, okay, I need to do some changes around here, because they are a lot. They are a lot. But from a mental health standpoint, I see, the similarities with them, where they never felt like people generally wanted to love them and be around them for them, that it was always about something else. And when someone starts to feel like it's about something else as to why you're around, it's just not a good feeling. I mean, but, it is what it is. Chosen one says she's the epitome of a case study that's included in the DSM manual. Yeah. Yeah, she is. I mean, I'm wondering in some colleges if they've talked about her. I probably would have wrote, if I was a student, probably would have wrote a paper, thinking about her and things like that. Because, when you in grad school, all you doing is writing papers. So she definitely would have been somebody I had in mind when I would have been learning about various, mental health disorders. Adam and Soul said, honestly, do not like to talk about people, because you will really never know why a person is, know a person do the things. But I do believe Cactus herself, based on the money she makes. Yeah. Yeah, it's the attention. She's created a brand, a livelihood. Oh, she's doing all these things right at this point. Her life, her lifestyle, her survival, she feels is centered around all of this. So it's almost like, look at it as to where like you're in something and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to get out of this, because I've built my life around this persona, this energy. Like, how do I change it? And that's kind of where she is. It's just like, how do I change it? Queen Johnson says she's pretty much tells everyone if it wasn't for money, she wouldn't be with Bigfoot. So that's telling me there's no love there. Plus, he lets her do anything and everything for real, man. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, she, she's the strength, she resources. He's seen a strong Black woman, his strong, and she gave, she had an energy that, and the drive that he didn't. He seen something in her that he didn't see in himself, that he didn't really see maybe at the time when he was dating the women that he was dating. There was just something there. And I think the main thing was just her drive. I think he found her to be exciting, because she's definitely, you ain't a dull moment with that thing. It's definitely not a dull moment. She definitely will make your nerves bad, but I think in the beginning it was just excitement. He a country boy coming from the farm. He ain't never met nobody like that before. So I think it was the excitement that got him. She was a challenge. It turned him on until it just became toxic. Now they got 2 kids together. The money surrounded, he ain't got no income like that where he can live comfortably, be paying child support, and still hold down his own separate residence. Like, that's a lot. And we talked, as I talked about earlier in this live, with the economy, people are choosing to be in situations and dealing with relationships a lot because of finances, because they feel like they can't afford to do it on their own. So they're willing to stay in toxic relationships far too long, or even get in toxic relationships for a dime or a dollar. Clearly men do it too, because I definitely feel Brett did it. I do. That's my personal opinion. Because ain't no way Ain't no way you wifing up something like that. So it is what it is. But I thank you, good people, for rocking with me. It's been 3 hours. I want to come on and check in with you and just take the conversation in a different place, a way that in a different direction, just for the sake of just doing something different, giving y'all something else to marinate on. So this was definitely fun, and I'm gonna do this, more often. And definitely follow me on my second channel, Chic Speaks on It. So it's Chic Speaks, and then add the 2 words on it. Follow me over there. Over there, I cover like just viral moments, things that's going on. So just look out for me to be putting some content out really soon over there. So make sure you follow me so you know when I go live. Chosen One says Chic 3 hours. Yes, I haven't done a 3 hour one in a long time. I cut them down. Remember, I used to always do 3-4 hours when I was heavy before Rose had those strikes on my channel. So I was a whole part-time job. Then I kind of shortened them to about 2 hours. 3 hours. Yeah, it's a long one. B-Day, enjoyed the live. Thank you. Thank you. A great 3 hours. Thank you all. Thank you, Queen. Thank you all for your engagement. If you came in later, definitely catch the replay. Definitely catch the replay. And yeah, I feel like it was a good live. And just keep these things in mind that we talked about as you're navigating just in and out of relationships. Just, pay attention to the signs, the moral of the story. Take care of yourselves first and foremost. Take care of yourselves first and foremost. Question: have you all hit the like button? Make sure you've hit the like button today for your girl. Listen, it's free. I've been here talking. I've gotten hot. I need to kind of maybe step outside, get some air. My daughter got an orchestra concert tonight, so I'm trying to rest before that tonight at 7:30. So it's been real, y'all. It's been real. I had a really good time. Great conversation. I love coming out and talking to you all. I learned so much from you all, and I hope you learn a lot from me as well. So again, Chic, and I will catch you on the next live broadcast. Peace.